4:20 de la madrugada, la hora adecuada. Yo no me ando con mamadas y los bajo de volada. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. Ahora es el momento, demuestre que es violento, que sí le vale verga y que trae un armamento, que su gente lo respalda para las drogas y las armas y que aparte trae un buen adiestramiento. Que se habla con el ejército, no es cierto. Que se habla con los azules, no es cierto. Que se entiende con la maña, que muerde como piraña, y si piensa que me apaña, eso no es cierto. El momento es ahora, no la hora de la hora, porque luego no le atora. Se lo digo de cora, como tú mirado varios que se pintan de sicarios y resultan lo contrario. Dicen que son de barrio, que fueron pandilleros, no tienen expediente y el cheque son puro pedo. Pa' hacerlo verdadero, nomás ocupa huevos, quizá nacer de nuevo, pero no ser embustero. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. No se pinte de pelón si viene del reggaetón. Justin Bieber trae tatuajes y eso no lo hace cabrón. Panochón, a ver, diga que es de neta, que la calle lo respeta y que su lírica es honesta, que no es otra muñeca como Daddy Yankee, que llegó de jefe y al final tiró la Barbie. Diga que es un gángster, diga que es malandro, perra como quiera, nadie lo baja de liandro. Actitud de chango, de todo se columpia, a todos nos menciona y a todos nos la chupa. Bambazo en la nuca, al estilo de los guachos, por acá en el norte se le llama chiricuazo. Te educaré muchacho sin hacerte promoción, lo que hizo en caricatura yo lo hice después del show. Pregúntale al Snoop con quien se fumó la mota, cállate la boca y toma lo que te toca. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. Tira tu liriquilla tú solito contra mí, o si quieres todo el team, yo llegué a ponerle fin. Aquí nadie va a morir, aquí nadie va a sangrar, es solo cuestión de rap como Biggie con Tupac. Risas lo que dan, copian como cantan, las letras se roban, como llegan se van. Ya se enteró papá, quien le tiró a los fans. Llora por mamoncito de retache, va pa' atrás. Le quiso acomodar, pero ya no le salió. El babo ya te oyó y hasta te escribió canción. Chamaquito cachetón, es hipócrita y culón. Sé que me miró mamón, pero el güey se lo buscó. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. Si te vienen a contar cositas malas de mí, diles que sí, que yo te dije que sí fui. Yo mero, el mero mero culero, y cuando quiera, aquí lo espero, y donde lo tope, pues hay mero. Si ya sabe de qué lado me roza la truza, hombre, del que me cuelga la riata, puro pinche cártel de Santa la verga, compa, y deje la calle a ver si es cierto todas las pinches mamás que canta, güey. Says it right here, homie. I've given my name out publicly. Debating with the majority report. Since debating with the majority report, oh, it's muted. We're all good. We're all good. We're all good. It's right here. No me escondo, cabrones. No me escondo. Since debating with the majority report, I put my name out there. And shout out to Left Ref Radio, because Brett, I forget his last name, but he puts out O'Shea. Brett O'Shea. Before I ever started the streaming stuff, he put out an episode, and he's like, oh, you know, whenever I try to hide my identity, skeezy, you name it, whatever, balaclava, these fascists, these white supremacists, these reactionaries would go out of their way to try and reveal my identity, right? So I figured, all right, let me just beat them to the punch. And I always internalized that. And I was like, yeah. So I gave my name out publicly on the majority report. 2 million subscribers. You know, because I got secrets. I got skeletons in the closet. Mind you. I've always been very clear. I don't claim LA. But I am from LA County. And I've said that.
Also on the majority report, only 2 million followers that they got, subscribers. I don't fucking hide it because I got nothing to fucking hide. I don't fucking hide it because I got nothing to hide. And the difference here is, and if you're wondering why this post violated X rules, I didn't report this shit. I have screenshots of this shit. But alguien se puso a chillar. The moment, this is why the golden rule is so fucking important. The golden rule. You know, treat people the way you want to be treated. The golden rule. I try my best to follow it. I try my best to follow it. But here's the thing, I'm not a good fucking person. I'm not. I've told you this. I've been honest about this. I'm not a good person. But the only way that I can let out that not good side. And I figured this out in middle school and I had it down by high school. You got to bully the bullies. If you want to let that shit out, you got to bully the bullies. So you stay quiet, you observe, and you look at who the person is que se cree el más chingón y te lo chingas, right? Because they don't know how to react. They don't know how to respond. They fucking start flailing everywhere. And that is more enjoyable than being a bully towards somebody who is defenseless, right? I like picking on abusers. Always have. Since I was a fucking chamaquito. And here's why. I don't need to write an article about my trauma. I don't need to write an article about that. Because I don't need external sympathy. I don't need that shit for attention. I know that I've been through a whole lot worse than Georgie has. But guess what? I know that I have loved ones that I care about that consider me lucky. And so when I call myself the fortunate son, I don't just mean the fact that I'm a fucking anchor baby first generation US citizen, right? And the privileges that I'm intimately aware of what that comes with. And I've tried my best to use that privilege to help the people that I love. Even before I knew what that privilege was, I was too young. If you're first generation, you already know the finessing that the older people around you have to do or are willing to do in order to, stay safe. And so you become, that's why they call us anchor babies, like a safety blanket almost, right? Or safety net, I should say. And that's our burden. That's our responsibility to make sure that we provide in any way that we can for the people that we love who are targeted by the state. I don't talk a lot about my personal stuff because I'm not here to gain sympathy from people. You're never going to see an article about me crying about my childhood. I've already done it. What the fuck do I have to tell the internet? For what? To excuse my behavior later on when, because the thing is, Georgie sexually harasses women. Now he does it online while his father did it in person. That's because George is a weak coward following in his father's footsteps. If you've seen your jefa get abused, the last thing you're going to do is replicate that type of abuse, whether online or in person. And if you're willing to do it online, then you sure as hell are able to do it in private. So for me, if you're going to cry and give me a sob story, give the world, the internet that you personally posted, nobody forced you to do this. You decided, let me put my name out there. Let me put my story out there. There's no get backs on the internet, homie. There's not, I take that shit back. No, you put it up there because you were desperate for attention and approval and sympathy. And then you turn around and become the abuser. You've already told me who you are through and through. If you're having a political disagreement with a woman online, and you immediately resort to taking screenshots of her photos and posting them and accusing her of bestiality, that's sexual harassment. And you're willing to do that publicly. I can't imagine the depraved, disgusting things that you do to women privately. Absolutely fucking disgusting. He just got suspended. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking, dude. This is his fucking strategy, right? This is how he gained such a devoted cult, by doing shit like this, by being the edgiest person online, and so he thinks. And my thing is, homie, I'm a blue collar worker. This is a side thing for me. This is a hobby for me. This is not my life. When I have a problem with a coworker, we know where the cameras aren't pointed at, and we can go handle it over there. It's that simple. I actually go out and touch grass every so often. And if there's a problem, there's a simple solution, man. There's a simple solution. And I've offered time and time again to go down to Argentina, and he's ignored that time and time again. ¿Por qué? That's my question. Why? But I think it's just a difference of the fact that I'm still in touch with reality, the real world, and he isn't. Look, around here we need receipts. So I'm gonna need receipts for that. I'm not even gonna repeat that online. See, that's the difference right there. That's the difference. So my thing is, I'm sorry you guys heard that. Let me actually. I'm blue collar working class broke brown man. And that's why I was so grateful for all the help and assistance that y'all provided when I got into that car crash. I live paycheck to paycheck, and I don't say this shit to gain sympathy. I say that because that is my reality and the reality of my fucking coworkers, of the people that I care about. I've always been working class, and from the looks of things, it's gonna stay that way, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But this online shit is not my real life, and I hope it never is. But if it were to become that, I'm not here to gather a cult. I've said this straight up every single time. If you're in my community, if you're a subscriber, Patreon supporter, fan of mine, what have you, it makes me uncomfortable, but it is what it is. And I see you in somebody else's community, you're banned. I don't give a fuck. You're banned. If you weren't already involved in that community prior, right? I'm not trying to say like I'm the fucking be all end all. If that was your community and that was your fucking spot, and then you came over here and you're going back and forth, hey, do what you want. But if you've never interacted with any other community and you're over there causing trouble trying to white knight for me, you're banned, because I don't want that parasocial shit. And so behaving in this manner where his account can get suspended left and right, he'll create another one because he needs this shit. He needs this shit. And it makes perfect fucking sense. You didn't get enough attention as a child. You didn't get enough attention as a child. Again, the big difference between me and you, homie, is the fact that I learned that you don't need attention to survive. I learned that you don't need people's approval. That's what I learned early on. And it wasn't much of an option. But I guess the other side of it, which I never really thought about, never really contemplated, is that there's people out there that went through some rough stuff. Not as rough as me, I can tell you that much. But there's plenty of people that have gone through worse. And they're not desperate for attention in the same fucking way. They're not desperate for the attention the same way. They don't need it to breathe the way you do. Because here's the thing, man. If you went through something awful, why the fuck are you publishing that online if it isn't for attention? If it isn't for attention. Because I didn't see a fucking helpline number there. I didn't say, hey, if you've been through this, please reach out to so-and-so. Please reach out to this number if you need help or assistance with abuse. No, instead what I saw was somebody try to lay claim of wasting child protective services, time and money, their resources, to go after a Zionist millionaire. And see, I said this, it's on record because I say consistent. I don't give a fuck about that. I do not. If you want to go after some Zionist family's children, have at it. We're going to have to re-educate them at some point anyways, right? but we're not in control of the state apparatus. So whatever is going to happen to them, it ain't going to be nice, and it's definitely going to be on you, and it's not going to be nowhere near the standard of living that they've been accustomed to. So it will be traumatizing one way or another. Just being in the system alone will do that to you. You see, and I've talked about this before, I volunteered in the past with children in the immigration system because what I've been through, because what I've lived through. Now, I don't tell you what that is because it's not important. Everyone should be helping out any way that they can. Here's a story I will share, just from being in this fucking neighborhood since homie wants to dox me, all right? I have literally gotten doors knocked saying, can we please get a ride? We have a family member who's just been arrested. The sheriff's got him. And they're going to take his kids if we don't show up. And we arrive. And look, social services, people working in that field. It's a compromising field. This woman, a white woman at that, speaking to the individuals that asked me for a ride in this neighborhood. You need to take these kids right now or else I got to put them in the system. Right? And so there I am. These people are not blood relatives to me. They're not related to me in any genetic way. These are just neighbors in the street that George decided to publish, right? They're just neighbors. We bumped heads. We've gotten along. We shared food. We shared laughs. We've had arguments. They're just neighbors. And they were so desperate that they needed my help to just get a ride there as quickly as possible. And the wild thing was, and this is why I'm a bad atheist, the apartments that the sheriffs raided and got this individual. Not a good person, by the way. Absolutely not a good person. I'm not here to defend them or justify them. And they definitely put their children at risk, right? But I remember living in those apartments. I remember how it is to have multiple families to one fucking apartment. But I don't really talk about that shit because it's not necessary, right? And so it was weird to me that here I am showing up and seeing a potential life that I could have had if certain things, I am the fortunate son, didn't go to my benefit. At a cost, of course, but I'm grateful for it. I always will be. That's the difference. I'm grateful for what I've lived through and survived. And that's why I'm not over here trying to abuse whatever little power I got. You got to understand that. That's the difference. You act like the man that you want to be. And so a lot of people misunderstood what I put. And that's fine. They've been lying on me. Go check out the Little Bill comment section, the video that I got on Little Bill, where I literally provide evidence that I've been holding the same position for months, especially in regards to Little Bill and Jewish supremacy. At least half of the comments there are from Brad and Panana's cult. And I was encouraging it, bro. I'm like, go for it, dog. Boost the algorithm, please. But these fools weren't even watching the video, though. They were just commenting, and I was just providing timestamp after timestamp. And so, of evidence of saying, no, well, you were lied to. Homie's been lying on me. Here it is. And having a good time with it because I love to argue. Right? And so his cult has always been on that. His cult, and I put the tweet out. I'm like, bro, like, you guys have threatened to contact my exes months ago, still in 2025. We're halfway through 2026. So I've known that this was coming. I know that when you speak up to people who have more influence than you, there's going to be consequences. I've known that my entire life. I grew up coming home hearing, I'm surprised nobody's kicked your ass yet. Because I've always been a loudmouth. I've always called bullshit out. Not because I think I'm superior or better, I'm on a high horse, but because I hate when people pretend to be the better, superior person. I hate that, despise that. I tell y'all consistently, I'm not a good person. I'm consistently fighting to be better because I'm not happy with the individual that I am today. And I know that I could do more, that I could be more. That's it. That's as simple as it is. So whenever y'all criticize me, or I remember the first title of, what was it, like an FD video with George. Um, some of you were like, "Hey, that's not cool. Like you took it too far." And I was like, "Okay, heard, literally." That's what I put, heard. Why? Because when I was younger and somebody would criticize me, I would try to justify myself. I would try to be like, well, actually, what I meant. Nah. If you're coming in good faith with good criticism and you're being genuine, all you got to tell me is that, and I'll say heard, and I'll change my behavior to the best of my abilities. It's that fucking simple. It's that simple. It's not complicated. This is not a complicated life that we have to live. It's a complicated world, but the way that you behave and interact with it can be very simple if you're true, honest, and consistent. These people are not. How the fuck are you going to start crying and claiming that I doxed you when you publicly posted an article with your whole fucking name, your whole fucking face, and put that shit online yourself? Reposting that is not doxing. You don't get to take that shit back. It's the fucking internet, bro. You don't get to create an alias after the fact. And again, I've been public about who I am and what I'm about and where you could fucking find me if need be. Because I'm not afraid of this shit, bro. It's that simple. That's the difference. If you contact me, I'll tell you the same thing I say fucking publicly, privately. Let me know when and where. And every time, publicly and privately, radio silence when I mention that. So it lets me know that you're a fucking coward that needs to be behind a screen. And that's perfectly fine, bro. I get it. It is scary and terrifying to actually confront somebody face to face. But that's called being a fucking man. The reason why I'm able to say, bro, 14 and you weren't fucking squaring up is because I was a whole lot fucking younger when I was squaring up. It's that simple. When I squared up, I was a whole lot younger than 14 because that is out of necessity. Now, am I saying everybody at that age should be able to fucking square up with their abusers? No, not at all. But if I see you being the abuser today as a grown-ass man, I am going to bring that up to help you fucking self-reflect in the fact that you have become your fucking father. You have become your father. And unlike you, homie, I've spent my entire life making sure I do not follow in that man's footsteps. All right? And believe it or not, I've done a great fucking job at that. I can proudly, arrogantly say that shit. Because that's how awful that person was. But you don't hear me crying about it online. Why the fuck would I? Who would gain from me crying about it? If I'm not using it to uplift other people, of course. But that's not what you do, Georgie. You don't do this to uplift other people. You do this to get attention that you so fucking desperately need. You do this to get richer while you're exploiting the economy in Argentina, brother. Right? That's what you do. So when you feel like you got one up on Hassan Piker, remember, you chose to flee Australia, the country that you benefited from its colonization, instead of staying there and organizing with the indigenous people and the working class there to make it a better fucking place. You chose to flee and live in comfort and luxury, cashing Australian checks in Argentina, brother. Right? That's the difference between you and me. I'm still here. I didn't have an option. None of us had an option where we were born, but we have an option of what we do here and how we use our privileges to help those that are less fortunate, that are marginalized, that are colonized. That is the responsibility you have. And I don't even know if you're a leftist. I don't think you're a socialist or communist or an anarchist. And I'm not saying that to dunk on you. I'm saying that because, well, you talk shit on anyone that isn't you or follows you. It's that narcissism. That's what it is. And that's perfectly fine. But homie, be honest about that. You are a white savior trying to dictate how the Palestinian movement should operate when you're nothing but a Western colonizer, a gentrifier at that. That's who you are and what you are. Now you fooled people because the other whites have set the bar so fucking low that you have fooled people into believing that you're something that you're not. You're an opportunist. A year ago, what were you doing? You were policing people's communities for anti-Semitism. And now you want to play edgelord talking about Zog. Mind you, I've never cared about Goy. That's what the fucking Jews call us anyways. They think they're better than us because they're God's chosen people. No different than how Christian thinks that they're better than you. No different than how Muslim think that you're an infidel. No different than that. What do Christians say? Non-believer? Or heretic? I don't fucking know. So, I say all this not to cope, not to cry, to remind you that I'm fucking better than you in every single aspect, in everything that you could ever do. I am better than you because I don't need to lie. I don't need to lie. I don't need to ask people for help to go at it with you. And definitely, I'm not dodging a fucking fade, homie. I'm just not. I didn't when I was younger than 14, and I'm definitely not going to dodge it now in my 30s. 32 if you want to look that shit up. So, it's okay to go after people's real living children and try to put them in the fucking system. But if I make fun of you for growing up to be your fucking father, that's a line. I crossed the line. I know I got in your head because look at everything that I made you do. Over who? Over what? I have less than 10,000 subscribers, homie, and I'm in your fucking head. I love bullying bullies. You are a fucking abuser. You are your father's son. Congratulations, Georgie. You're making him fucking proud. That's the difference between you and me. I despise everything my father was, and I will never be like him. You, on the other hand, are growing up to be just like him, but you're such a fucking coward that you do it online. You do it online. Now, I offered you the chance to show me what a big tough guy you are in person multiple times, and you ignore it time and time again. I'm not a bully, George. I'm not your father. Because if I was, I'd be disgusted with you as an offspring. But apparently he doesn't have much room to judge. So, your family is off limits, even though they're colonizers. But other families aren't off limits, even though they're also colonizers. Because I see no difference. I don't need to look up your fucking family tree. I don't need to look up your family name. For all I care, your mother is Gila Klein. The only difference is that the Australian Settler Colonial Project and the Zionist one are in different phases. And that's about it. But in terms of exploiting and benefiting from settler colonialism, from white supremacy, and Jewish supremacy, I don't know, fucking Greek supremacy over there in Australia, same fucking difference to me. Now remember, you chose to go after somebody's kids. You can't say I crossed a line when I've never done something like that. All I did was remind you that you are your father's son and that you're making him very, very proud, George. Congratulations. This is what happens when you don't square up with the fucking truth, when you don't self-reflect, when you're a narcissist, when you create a cult around you of yes men. Me, if I see that shit, and I know y'all already rated Discord, it's fine. I don't care. Here's the thing. Even in Discord, where it's private, or at least more private than this, I tell people, okay, yeah, that's cool. Don't compliment me. I'm not that. Do not give me compliments. I don't need that shit. I'm good. Thank you very much. You live off of that. You live off of that shit. You need the approval. You've become no different than Hassan Piker in terms of how you interact with your audience. You can't handle any fucking criticism. You can't handle being told, hey, you're acting just like this other fool. It's wonderful. It's great. Again, I'm not hiding. I gave my full fucking name on the Majority Report years ago when I barely started this fucking channel. You publicize your name and then want to take it back. That's not how the internet works. And I knew there was always going to be reactionaries, fascists, white supremacists that were going to attack me. And I was fucking right, wasn't I? I was fucking right, wasn't I, chat? Oh, man. Georgie. I'll help you out, homie. I went to school, college in Orange County. You don't think I know how to deal with fucking white people like you? Now, the sad part is that you've convinced a whole lot of fucking incels around the world that you're different, that you're special, that you're not just a regular colonizer. No. You're a cool colonizer that gets it. If you're willing to sacrifice the Inuit people of Greenland, who've already been colonized by Denmark, who have the highest suicide rate in the world, if you're willing to sacrifice them to US imperialism or your geopolitical fantasies of NATO collapsing, then that means that if the genocide of Palestinians will result in the collapse of NATO, that you would also support that. And that's how I know you're a fucking grifter and opportunist. Y'all can't help it. Chris Kunstler, same fucking thing. Intelligent individual. Still a white man willing to throw out indigenous people here on, broadly speaking, Turtle Island and say they've been colonized for too long. Yes, dude. Yeah, man. Nothing like comparing black people to animals. We know who you're dog whistling for. In fact, I know this because you've recognized that Zog. You've recognized that in some cases, Goy, not that I fucking care, are neo-Nazi fucking slogans and dog whistles. You recognize that a year ago, and now you're using it yourself. Not only are you doing that, but you're doing this weird ass fucking black people are animal shit. We know who your audience is, homie. You got desperate. You got too close to Hassan, and the consequences of losing his support and his audience made you go down this route. Smart. Strategically deploying imperialism to end NATO. There it is. White people can't help but to sacrifice indigenous people for what they deem the greater good. That was nice. That was nice. Shout out to Diallo, who was able to do that like every fucking stream with no references, no nothing. But look, I also want to be honest with y'all. Let me pull it back up. Did I close it? Let me pull it back up. Because I'm open, and I have been, to criticism. It makes me a better person. It's as simple as that. I want to be better. So I'm more than happy to say, hey, me pasé o qué? Oh, by the way, here's the example. So you don't think that online. Can I move this or no? Can y'all see this? No, not yet. All right, let me move it here. Nope. Also not good. Maybe there. Yeah. Brother, I'm about to go into a deep dive on you. I'll be contacting unknowns, exes, and romantic partners to see if they have anything to say, which I'm sure they will, and I will publicize it afterwards. Keep the date, November 7, 2025. His cult has been after me for a while. Have I cried about it? I think it's fucking ridiculous and hilarious. And I want to make sure that y'all do not replicate this type of behavior ever. You'll be excommunicado if you do shit like this. This is fucking pathetic. Do this shit for your local McDonald's. I don't fucking know. Do this shit for your local Chipotle. I don't fucking care. Don't do this shit on my behalf. I need to find it. Here it is. Let me find it. Where is it? I'm low-key pissed off because his account is suspended. Just fucking annoying. That's how he gets away with a lot too, by creating different accounts. So that way you can never pin anything on him. You could always say, oh, that wasn't me. So I said, and responding to some bullshit that he said over here. Right? This is one of his cult members. That's not him, by the way. This is all fucking... and they think they're the smartest people too. This individual literally said, I don't see how white supremacy plays a role in the so-called Middle East. Jesus, bro. Anywho. So I put... Oh, because you know what I think he said? And I'm sorry, you're going to have to believe me here because his account is suspended. He'll be back, don't worry. He'll be back. He'll be back by the end of the day. He needs this shit to breathe. I think he said something like, oh, you'll never get over me calling you a no sabo. First of all, regardless of like some white English European dude telling anyone that they're not speaking proper fucking whatever language is hilarious. That's already funny. 2, doesn't apply to me. Just so it means that you don't know what a no sabo is. You're just trying to act like you know the fucking lingo. 3, I was talking shit about you and calling you out before you ever heard of me. Because I'm consistent. I'm consistent, homie. I despise you, Hassan Piker, Noah Sampson's, all those fools. I am consistent. So, all I said was, you're going to act like I wasn't calling you an opportunist before you ever heard of me. Let me help you get over your daddy issues. 14 and you couldn't stand up to him to protect your family? Is that the real reason you left Australia? To hide from him? Laugh my ass off. When's the face-to-face?
You wouldn't be able to get away with that talking to me face-to-face, would you? You wouldn't be able to get away with that talking to me face-to-face, would you?
You're the one that said face-to-face. I'm the one saying let's fucking make it happen. You've ignored that time and time again, publicly and privately. So what am I to do? I get it. You're a keyboard warrior. I'm down to go down to Argentina, but you refuse. So it is what it is. Now people, and it's hilarious, his fan base, that didn't mind trying to put kids in the system, right? Can we all agree? If we're all saying that George was an innocent child at 14, that going after like what, 5-year-olds and like what, like a 3-year-old, Ethan's kids, trying to put them in the system would be crossing the line with that logic, right? You would think. There's currently now in present day children. So the hypocrisy is fucking hilarious. And again, for me, that's old. 14 is old already. In terms of being a man and squaring up with older men that are being abusive in your family, bro. It got to the point, and it hurts me and it pains me to say this because I lost a lot of respect for a lot of people. It got to the point that when abuse was happening in the family, I wasn't told. I was kept in the dark from that shit because they knew how far it would take things. And when I realized how normalized patriarchal abuse, machismo, even by people claiming to oppose it, when I realized how prominent that was, I lost a lot of love and respect and cut off a lot of fucking family members because I don't fuck around with that shit. If I find out somebody's putting hands either in a violent or sexual way on somebody, I will take care of that because I have been taking care of that. Way younger than 14. Way younger than 14. But more importantly, I did not become those people, unlike George. Unlike George, I put his name, first and last name publicly, his face to it publicly, his story to it publicly, and now wants to claim he's being doxxed. And you see what type of person that is. Somebody that immediately wants to, oh, I want to take that back. Never mind. You want to play rough with other people, but you can't play rough. You can't handle it. All the information you want to put out about me, homie, you're going out of your way to find it. You put this shit out there yourself. My name, I've given that shit. My street, though, I never put that shit out there. But that's fine. Do your fucking thing. Do your fucking thing. I'm here waiting whenever you want. Whenever you want. But more than likely, this was going to swap me or do some dumb shit. Because he's a coward. So, congrats on sexually harassing women online like you do. Your father would be proud. And if anyone knows or doesn't know what I'm talking about, aquí está. ¿Dónde está, bebé? Aquí está. Publicly or privately, I tell you the same fucking thing, homie. Being consistent and true is a gift that I value. So he had posted my my address, and I said, pull up. You've become your father, some online power, and you can't help but to abuse it. Would he be proud of the man you've become? And this is just one of the many instances of him sexually harassing women online. I blocked the person's name out for their own protection because they asked me to. They want to avoid harassment. Some of Bad Empanadas fans have found the original interaction and posted their name. But I've done my best to honor their wishes while highlighting what a fucking predator this guy is. He said, I don't even need to say anything about what you white women do with those sort of dogs, do I? Over a political disagreement, accusing a woman, a white woman, but a woman nonetheless, of bestiality. Again, if you've seen abuse, if you've seen your own mother be abused, and this is the way that you're publicly interacting with women online, I can't imagine the horrors, the nightmares, the fucking disgusting behavior that you treat women privately behind closed doors. Because there's no way that you have a consenting partner who sees this and stays with you. There is no possible way that you have a consenting female partner that sees this, that this is your reaction, your response, with a photo included, by the way, of the person, and stays with you and feels safe with you and thinks that you're an honest and true man. To immediately jump to bestiality, a woman that you don't know that's younger than you, to take her photo, having a picnic with her dog, that says everything I need to know about you. And I will treat you like the fucking creep, abuser, and predator that you are. Because I've done that my whole life with men like you. A lot younger than 14, homie. A lot younger than 14. Was I scared? Was I nervous? Was I terrified? Absolutely. But unlike you, I stepped the fuck up because I hate those men. And I hate you too, homie. I hate you too. So do all the things that I know you were already going to do because I knew these white supremacists, fascists, and reactionaries were going to do that. Shout out again, Left Ref Radio, Red O'Shea. Thank you for the advice, homie. I appreciate it. You were correct. And I was smart to follow your advice. Put my name out there with the Majority Report, 2 million subscribers. Never hide where I'm from. The street does get a little too close to home, but pull up. Aquí estoy. Georgie, you are your father's son. Congratulations, Way. All right, now to the important stuff. Because you know, I gotta have a good time. Let me close all this out here. Let's have some fun. I appreciate all the support, y'all. Become a member. Super stickers, super chats are turned on if you want to support. Check out the Patreon. $2 gets you access to the Discord. We'll be a little bit more vigilant there because I'm sure that he'll try to, like, I don't know, post CP on there in order to get the Discord banned or some shit like that. That wouldn't be surprising. Type of individuals that we're talking about. He probably already has that shit locked in his hard drive, ready to weaponize, of course. Just like colonization. Oh, and yeah, by the way, I can use this freely now, by the way. Here we go.
Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat?
If you don't know, I'm officially a black Latino. Shout out to how fucking absolute racist Georgia's fan base is. To consider me, let me pull this up. Again, evidence. I don't need to lie. I don't gotta fucking lie, bro. That's the difference between me and all these motherfuckers. There's no need to lie, homie. You ain't gotta lie to kick it. It's not complicated. I learned that really young. Here it is. Okay. So this is in response to George sexually harassing women online. One of his fans says, so the only time you offer to debate is on white women, sex with pets stereotype, not any actual political issue. And I want to make something very clear. People think that me and FD are friends. The only times that me and FD have interacted publicly is because we disagree, right? I was more than willing and able to have a conversation or debate with George. But he decided to lie about me consistently. He decided to sick his cult on my channel consistently, and that's fine. That's your thing. That's your deal. I get it. You're afraid. You're a coward. We know this. But the moment that you start lying and you're proving yourself to be a disingenuous actor, which I've known that he was with other people, but
I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race.
But I would talk to anyone. I would. If they're white, I probably won't have them on my channel, but I'll talk to anyone. It's not complicated. I'm an adult. I can have a normal conversation with people I disagree with. Now, I might be in pain, like I was a little Bill. Frustration, recognizing I got played, right? If anybody's wondering why I blocked this person, it's because when you start excusing sexually harassing women, I want nothing to do with you. He says, for a black Latino unable to speak Spanish, you sure defend white people a lot. Do you know how fucking racist you have to be to consider me black? Do you know how fucking racist you have to be to consider me black? That is like, and I said this is some one drop rule shit on steroids. You know how racist you have to be to consider me a black Latino? That's some one drop rule on steroids. Typical George cultist though, considering this is Bad and Banana saying,
I voted for Kamala Harris. You got a problem?
Saturn, appreciate it so much. What is that? Oh, UFO? That's dope. Appreciate it. This is Bad and Banana saying, literally just died laughing upon seeing this. Spain is incredible. And the defense is, hey man, he means it's just like so ridiculously racist that it's funny. Bro, how many times haven't I talked about what's his little character's name, like Memo or what's his name, see, black Mexican cartoon character. Let's do racist. I always forget this little fool's name. If you've been following the stream since the early days, you know that I've gone into this, that I've talked about this, especially in regards to how Mexico did not include Afro-Mexicanos in their census, I think up until 2020, if I'm not mistaken. I would talk about this all the time. If you've been here, I've talked about this all the time. So no, I don't find this shit fucking funny. No, I don't think, oh my gosh, it's so fucking ridiculous. Can you believe it? They're incredible. Wow, their racism is so unique. And I know for a fact that I seen this like growing up at different times. Thankfully, I wasn't like in an environment that was this fucking anti-black. Don't get me wrong, anti-black, anti-indigenous, colorist as fuck, but not to this fucking degree. And I don't even think it was from fucking solidarity with like black people or to not promote anti-blackness. I think it was just kind of like, it was probably the more common of like, that's a little too fucking. It's not even like that. Oh, we're upset that it's racist. Probably, I think it was probably more, and I think this is very common. Of like, oh, that type of racist, you know, they're kind of beneath us. They make other people look bad type of shit. Because anti-blackness in the brown community is across the board. And then the defense, you gotta see the defense. You gotta see the defense. Again, this Bad Empanadas fans are fucking racist. Bro, as a Latino, how are you gonna act offended at this? Mexican had, and he's laughing at the absurdity. Come on, bro. This is sad. At least have actual comebacks. I've endlessly talked about our anti-blackness. What the fuck are you on? I'm saying, even in our culture, we had something like the picture Bad Empanada was laughing at, and we also laughed at the fact it existed, right? Or are we crying while looking at it or are we crying while looking at it at the store because it's offensive? We laugh at the absurdity. Well, you're able to laugh at it because it doesn't affect you. You're able to laugh at it because you're co-signing that shit. So I put, I don't find it funny, in or out of our culture. Besides, this is from Spain and George is an Australian living in Argentina. So the comparison to culture is irrelevant. I don't know why you act like it's normal to find this humorous. Sure, bro. Either we post it online to laugh or we cry. There's just, look, you see him laughing at something like this. And of course, let's find it. He finds this shit funny. There's like racist, anti-black shit funny and hilarious. And you expect me to believe? I don't know how y'all are seeing this. My bad. I'll put it right here. Hold on. You expect me to believe that he's not racist as he depicts black people as animals and finds this fucking hilarious? I want to make sure y'all can see his name connected to this. Make that shit make sense. Oh, you can't see the... Here we go, like this. Yeah, it's a little bit of a headache there, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is what George represents. He thinks anti-black racism is hilarious. Like, there's no denying it. There's no way around it. So, he sexually harasses women online, immediately going to bestiality over political disagreements. He's consistently demonstrated to be fucking racist. And he's a hypocrite when it comes to anti-Semitism, not because I give a shit about white-on-white violence, but because he was the anti-Semitism police. He was the anti-Semitism police a year ago, and suddenly now he wants to be the edgy fucking Nick Fuentes light. It just makes you think where his mind's at. Or am I reaching? Or am I reaching, chat? All right, let's get back to the serious stuff. Kind of. I need to make fun of this motherfucker a little bit. This is for Dr. Ball. Shout out to Dr. Ball. Because I don't really pay attention to this stuff. I don't pay attention to this stuff in regards to, like, I was never in the gym. I was never lifting. You're not going to see some fucking, you know, throw my mouth away. You're not going to see that shit. In terms of lifting weights, that's not me. For me, it was always martial arts. One, I had anger issues as a kid because of shit that I lived through. I had a lot of anger issues. I had a chip on my shoulder, right? And so I was very fortunate to get put in martial arts. I'm very fortunate because that shit's expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Is it too dark here? Hold on. I don't know why it got so dark. And so I was like, all right. I don't care about getting like buff and strong, because I was able, even with my limited skill set, because I don't think I don't got the technique down like I should. I don't know why. Is it just me or it got super dark? Oh, there it is. Maybe I need to like, damn, bro. Got like really dark. I know I'm wearing the hat, but still. Maybe I should just put up my hair. So I didn't care about strength in that regard because, well, if you're bigger, then that means you're fucking slower than me. And if you're slower than me, that means I can hit you and get out of the way before you can hit me. Right? That was my fucking way of seeing it and thinking about it all. So I never cared about getting big, strong, and buff. Wasn't my thing. As I get older, I realize that I need to put on some muscle for the health of my bones as I get older and older. So in that sense, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to get to it. But I find it so fucking boring, right? I'd rather be getting CTE. I'd rather be getting CTE than that shit. So I don't really care about this. But I will say, I saw this and I immediately pull out from like the fucking closet, like dust, collecting dust. I pull out a pull-up bar. I did this for Dr. Ball. It's like, Dr. Ball's petty like this about working out and fitness. Let me go ahead and try and match it, right? Chat, am I tripping out? Or is it's because you're a black Latino? Honestly, like, I mean, yeah, I guess the batting banana call made me, is it good now? That is so weird. I don't know if it was like this the whole time. But maybe now it's good. I don't know. I know it's wrong because it kind of looks like my beard connects. Like my goatee connects with my goatee and it doesn't. Or my mustache. My goatee. And it really doesn't. I fucking cannot make it. Anywho. That's distracting, but it is what it is. Unless I change the brightness. If I change it, it's going to fuck everything up though. I know this. So you're stuck with this. I might have to get the drop. Now I think I might need the drop. To remind people, apparently I gotta do this now. You're no black. You're no black. I need the drop, y'all. I'm not denying, like it's not like I am in denying it. I'm just, apparently I gotta clarify now that I'm actually not in fact black. But I guess because I'm not anti-black to that extent, we're all anti-black. I'm definitely have some anti-blackness. But because I'm not an outwardly proud anti-black racist the way that George is and his crew is, his fans, they assume that I must be black. That's the only way to not be racist. I voted for Kamala Harris. You got a problem? And Gio, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. All right. So yeah, I need that drop. You're no black. Just to remind people. I just apparently it's a thing now. If you're not an outright fucking anti-black racist, then you gotta clarify. So I pull out the pull-up bar. Mine literally dust on this thing because I do not care about being in shape like that. And you didn't vote for Biden, you can't be black. True. But I always cite white supremacists when I'm talking about race science, so I don't know who to side with. Is it too far to say that deculturation is a black skin historian? A black skin historian is, you know, I appreciate y'all so much. I'm so like lucky that like I'm not a sensitive thin-skinned white man that I literally saw all this shit and I was fucking dying laughing, because it's like, you cannot handle what you dish out even remotely without like immediately fucking crying about, like, mind you, this is why I can't stand the fact that his account got suspended. This is how you know it wasn't me, because the whole plan was to pull all the tweets up to laugh at this motherfucker in real time. He literally said, he's crossed the line. Anybody got information on him? When have I asked any of you for information, personal information about these people? Like, how is your whole life this? That's not a wake-up call for you, dog? That's not a wake-up call? Shit. But I appreciate the fact that, like, I'm able to laugh at this because I've lived through so much fucking worse. Believe me, but you're not going to hear me cry about it. And two, I know that you have as well. I know that my chat, people that support me, predominantly black. Literally, I'm the opposite of fucking George in that aspect. And how we treat women as well, apparently. But it's definitely like, we're able to laugh at this shit when white people start acting up like this. Because it's like,
I'm afraid of, like,
unless you
talking to
directly put my life
people
at risk.
who
Seen
are
it,
outside
lived
of
through
my
it, been.
race.
Come on. He's not the first white person to tell me to speak a language properly. And I'll never do it. Yeah. Okay. I pull up the pull-up bar. Fucking dusty and all this shit. And I'm like, I gotta find out. Mind you, I haven't done pull-ups in ages. And I'm like, I gotta find out, how out of shape am I for real? I could do 8 solid pull-ups. Now there's a little bit, maybe, I don't know if it's debate or not, because I'm not in the fitness world. But when you do a pull-up, I do know there's an argument between locking your joints completely, right? Or getting like right there, like they're about to lock out, because you don't want to release the stress on your muscles and put the stress on your joints, right? And so there is going to be a slight hold at the bottom. Some people will say, no, you need to completely lock out and then start from basically like 0, right? And then go up. I think it's more difficult to not lock out completely and just be right there, like right, very obtuse, but like almost completely, but not, because you feel it, like holding it causes some stress. But that's not a pull-up then. Somebody says some people only go halfway when they do pull-ups, and then you're not doing a full pull-up. Spoiler alert, you're not doing a full pull-up. I was taught that you go right before lockout and then you come up, right? And that you try your best to go up and down at the same speed and not just drop down, right? Because you want to be able to control the exercise in your body the entire time. Now, I'm telling you, I do not work out like this. I'm hitting pads, I'm hitting the bag, I'm sparring. I do not work out like this. Pull it out, set it up. There's no reason for me to lie, because this is not an impressive number. I could do 8 solid, and that's it. I anything after that, my legs start like failing around, like, right? I'm like kind of doing this, like, and that doesn't count. You're done. It's over. It's about doing it correctly. That is a number that you count. How many did you do correctly? So let's find out what the left's Arnold Schwarzenegger over here is able to do. No, I think 8 is bad. I honestly think 15 is solid. If you're in shape, it's where you should be at.
Oh, okay. So I don't even need to beat them in a pull-up competition.
Right. No.
Can you still do pull-ups, Crazy?
I can do pull-ups.
How many pull-ups can you do? I can't do that much.
Already 2 of those are not actual pull-ups. Already 2 of those are not. Yes, we're going to spend like 30 minutes on this. I don't give a fuck. At least 2 of these immediately. The first one's solid. That's 1. Let me know if y'all can hear the creaking, because that shit's annoying. Look where he's stopping. Look where he's stopping. I don't know. Chat, let's do we do a poll? Are we doing a race swap trade? We got to move on from that topic, but this is hilarious. Wait, if you're black, can we be Mexican? Well, there's black Mexicans, so yeah, sure, go for it. I don't know why you would want to. All right.
You counting?
That's actually very good.
You look at the feet too. He looks like Pete fucking Hessage. You got to look at the feet. This is why, and again, I know it's a bit of a debate. I'm sure, and I still don't have enough room to completely leave my feet down like this. So I do have to like bend and cross them, right? There's a debate whether or not you should cross them. It's a little bit more difficult if you don't cross them and still keep them bent. I will give you that. But I do cross them. But what you don't want to do is have your hips, anything lower than your hips moving back and forth, because now you're using the leverage to lift yourself up. So these do not count. The moment that his feet start like wailing around, it's done. That's not a fucking pull-up anymore. You're using the momentum of your body to get you up. Mind you, I would not criticize anyone else for this. I think this is like, it's a cute moment if I'm being honest with you. If your whole thing isn't like, I'm a fucking badass chingon. Come on now.
That's all I got.
So supposedly 11, right? The voiceover was 11. It wasn't. It was maximum 8, probably 7, if we're being honest. And I mean, even that, I think, because he doesn't go all the way down for most, if not all these. I think this is the first one. That's one. And then he stops right here, right? Which is halfway. So that's half of pull-up. That's half of a pull-up. Again, halfway. Another. So there's barely one pull-up. There we go. That's the difference. You see the fucking difference. There we go. I'm not being petty. I am. That's the difference. Compare this. And I don't think that's even low enough still. To this. He stops right here. Stops and then goes low.
You counting?
But look at his feet. Look at his feet. Look at his feet. It's a wrap already. You lost. It's over with.
That's actually very.
This individual, sorry. They're being very kind. They're being very kind. Because you saw look the feet dangle move. Look. That. And that's why you bend them. That's why you bend them, to avoid that. Because sometimes it is a natural reaction. Your body's trying to help you out. I don't think he's proactively cheating, right? I don't think anybody proactively cheats like this. It's just kind of like your body's trying to help you. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get how you're the fitness guy and you can't knock out at least 10 solid, accurate, correct pull-ups.
That's actually very good.
That 8 one is gone. Homie needed to regrip. 8 is gone. So we made 7. How is that physically possible? To spend that much time on the gym and to be that fucking narcissistic about your physique and not be able to do 7 solid, because it's not even 7. I don't know why I'm being generous. It's not even 7 pull-ups. He probably did 4 pull-ups because they're halfway. Doesn't fucking count. He did I would argue he did 1. I would be petty and argue that he did 1 solid pull-up. And I think it was the third one. Jeez. I always mix them up. Is it pull-up or chin-ups? Because I thought that I always mix them up where this is a chin-up because it's easy to get your chin over, where this is a pull-up because it feels like you're pulling something. Let's find out. They did ask for pull-ups. Oh, yeah. You're right. No, wait. Yeah, these are chin-ups. Well, no. Yeah. Huh. That inside grip is a chin up, pull-ups are overhand grip and harder. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm telling you, I was not. This is not Dr. Ball saying in my day. I'm not Dr. Ball saying back in my day I could. It's not. I literally laid out the fact that I do not do this. If I am not physically hurting my brain, I'm not interested. I want to forget my childhood now, but why didn't they tell him anything? You think they knew? They're like, if we say chin ups, or is it just one of those things where it's like used interchangeably at this point, which you shouldn't if you're at the park and this is your thing, right? Calisthenics? I don't know how to say that word. Now the question is, for the benefit of the doubt, would he have benefited from doing an actual pull-up versus a chin-up? I don't know what glamour muscles he targets, but I wonder. Yeah, 315, bro. I don't know if you saw me, but I'm like, shit, bro. 315, but it makes sense because Dr. Ball, tall guy as well. So is Hassan. And Dr. Ball, was, serving this proud country. Proudly serving, I should say, this country. And so I'm sure he had a lot of time to, what do they say, like lift iron, lift some weights. Yeah, but I would say that if you're at the gym, if you're at the park, not even the gym, hanging out. If you're at the gym hanging out, you should know the difference, and you should kind of enforce it, not to be a dick, but just be like, oh, can you try this instead? Oh, all right, we got to watch the end of this.
That's all I got. Oh, 10. Oh, I worked out this morning. That's why. That's why.
10.5.
Oh, he's
Oh my God, I had not seen that. I had not seen. Why is it every time? This is how you know these fucking white men will never admit that they're wrong, will never react positively to criticism or, God forbid, accountability. It's because I worked out this morning, bro. Even if that's true, even if you don't say that shit out loud, bro, you don't say that shit out loud. Because even if it's true, this is the reaction you're going to get. If he wasn't surrounded by yes men, guys, men in the chat, tell me this isn't true. If he wasn't surrounded by yes men, he'd be getting fucking clowned right now, roasted for saying that shit. Endlessly, all you would hear throughout the day, maybe the week if you're not fucking lucky, if you're with real petty ass motherfuckers. But all you'll hear throughout the day is like, oh man, oh, if only I didn't work out this morning. For like the smallest thing. Like you guys are going up the stairs, stop halfway, pretend you're catching your breath, be like, guys, I worked out this morning. The whole fucking day, it's all you would hear. Your homies clowning you for those coping ass pathetic words coming out of your mouth. It's just a reality. It's just, tell me I'm fucking wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. And that's not, I mean, you know, maybe I need softer friends. I don't know. But that's all I would hear endlessly. If not straight up fucking shit talking in a not very nice way. Bro. What was it? I can't remember one single book because jet lagged. Yeah. All right, buddy.
Oh, I worked out this morning. That's why. That's why.
10.5.
Oh, he's locking in. Oh, it's over. It's over. Oh! Oh! Let's go! Wait, for real?
How much is that? 9?
What's up, dude? How many pull-ups can you do?
He's like, please, you look out of shape. You look a little bit overweight, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm hoping you can do less than me. Oh, sorry. What am I doing, chat? How many pull-ups can you do? Can you do? Let's go ahead and see you try, man. Does he make any of these? Oh my gosh, he does. Jesus Christ.
Pull-ups can I do?
Yeah. Oh, he's got the wide grip and everything. Great form. God damn. Hasanabe his are out here. When you went with
Oh, fucking shit. He's such a narcissist. He had to take credit for that. He's such a narcissist. He had to take credit for that. Holy shit. He literally had to make somebody outwork him about himself. And he's like already like touching his shoulder like that shit's killing him. Wow, bro. I'm consistently going back and forth of who has the more like deranged, completely devoted cult. I think George's is more potent. But I will say I think Hassan's cult is more pathetic. But again, that's like an incel army versus the DSA, essentially. Incel army versus DSA, who wins? I don't know. Anchorman shit, literally, yes. That's what he looks like. Yes, that's what it is. Chat. Okay, we gotta do this poll. Hold on, we gotta do a poll here. I gotta find out. Am I even am I logged in? No, I'm not trying to do a goal, I'm trying to do a poll. Oh, here it is. Start a poll. BE Incel Army versus Hassan DSA. Options. Oh, I don't want yes or no. What the fuck? Is it only that poll? Hold on. I never do polls, so let's exit out of that. And let's go here. And, why yes or no? That's so fucking weird. I guess. Oh, here we go. That's right. There we go. It's not letting me do the poll. What the fuck? Why not? I'm logged in, right? It looks like I am. Yeah. Start full. Blah, blah, blah. Anywho, we gotta move on from this. There we go. Who wins? George's Incel Army or Hassan's DSA? Fuck that. What was I gonna look up? Oh yeah, we're gonna look up Anchorman shoulder. What am I looking for? What's this called?
1002.
Mr. Burgundy,
1003.
Helen said that you needed to see me.
Oh, Miss Corningstone. I wasn't expecting company. Just doing my workout.
Oh, he does injure himself. All right, great.
Yes.
Oh, it's a deep burn. Oh, it's so deep. Oh, I could barely. I don't know if you heard me counting. I did over 1,000. You have your ubulus muscle that connects to the upper dorsimus.
I don't know if you heard, but I did 11 full pull-ups. Jesus, man. Does he struggle to put it on afterwards?
Pickup attempt. I'm offended. I have very little time to get.
That's great. I like that detail. He's pointing out the muscle right there. Honestly, yo, Jesus Christ. They are. Man. All right. I do gotta take a bathroom break, and then it's already 6:21, bro. God damn. All right. We're just an hour and a half in. We're fine. What about Geechee? Oh, EYL. Where's the poll at? Like, where are we at with the poll? Well, I'll just wait a little bit longer. All right, let me be right back. What am I pulling up? I don't think they'll mind if I pull this up. I hope they don't. Just because this was a great conversation. And I hope that if you haven't seen it already, that you check it out.
Now I can't remember the title for.
Hold on, I had a timestamp in the comment section. Wait, what the fuck? Something's going on with I don't know if it was a re-upload or something, some issue. And not to get all conspiracy theory. So I'm subscribed now, but earlier in the day I was not subscribed to their channel, even though I have been. And their comment section isn't what I saw earlier, unless this is like a second version of it. But I think at the like 15-minute mark is a really good question, if I'm not mistaken. We'll start right there. I'll be right back, y'all. Please go check this out. Give it a like. I give it a like also. What the fuck? That's weird. All right. I'll be right back.
To attend to my children at some point, and that's completely fine on this podcast. Like, one question I have is, when you go into exile to America, that's kind of strange, right? Because you're going into exile for safety from Israel to the real sponsor of Israel. So, like, how does that feel? And then I often wonder, when people identify as Palestinian American, like how does that feel?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So to like be clear, I was born in the US. So my parents, like my mother's actually not Palestinian. My father is Palestinian and was born in exile, and eventually they met and moved to the United States where I was born. But the feeling, that you're asking about is still very, like, of course, very real. And I think it has always been difficult. And that was something I was also trying to get out in this piece is, okay, I'm going to go on a tangent a little bit and come back. But I think part of what makes, like Palestinians have talked a lot, especially in the last years, I think with increasing transparency, about how there are actors and organizations that are fulfilling Zionist goals or like using Zionist rhetoric or intentionally sort of serving as like, what's the word that I want to use? Like placing limits on international advocacy, sort of in service of Zionism, even if that's not maybe their explicit intention or, certainly not said out loud. Because I think there is like an insight that people have intuitively when they've been subjected to a certain kind of violence their whole lives, that they can identify again when that violence is happening rhetorically or however. Steven Saleta talks about that as like a smell test, right? Like when we talk about JVP, we can like sort of intuitively know, Jewish Voice for Peace I'm talking about, we can intuitively know when they're sort of referencing something that is Zionist without being able to maybe put it into words, and where other people will say like, is this Zionist? Like we shared a post on Twitter the other day about Ben and Jerry's ice cream in occupied Palestine because it is a Zionist owned, I would say the founders are also Zionist in a different way, but this person is like very much a Zionist settler. And the response was also similar.
Please go check this out. Great interview. We've read some of Lara's work and just does a great job at just breaking everything down and not wasting like a single word. Everything in her articles are essential. I do want to give a shout out to Indy for such a great question. It's one that I would be nervous to ask, if I'm being honest with you, because it is obviously it's a different thing, right? So like, I personally, it's a totally different thing. I'm not trying to compare it, but fuck it, since Shed's gonna be doxed about me and leaked anyways. It wasn't an option. It wasn't by choice. How do I word this? It wasn't by choice that I was born here. Let's put it that way. It wasn't by choice that I was born in the US. And I don't mean like my choice, to be very clear. And so it does make certain things like complicated of your feeling of responsibility and obligation as a quote unquote American, added to the fact that you're consistently reminded that you're not a real American throughout. Added to the fact that like the hatred and anger that you start building towards the US at a very young age, the moment that you start recognizing and that you're conscious that your family members, your direct blood relatives are being targeted by the state and are considered fucking alien, right? So just complex layers of a sense of responsibility and guilt and acknowledgement of those benefits and privileges that you're able to obtain simply for being born here at a great sacrifice and cost and constant risk of the people that brought you here. Right? If that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. It makes sense to the people that understand and live through it, and maybe I need to be more eloquent to those that haven't, but let me know. Okay. Oh, they uploaded it again after the live aired. Okay. Well, let's get back to it. I hope they don't mind. I hope they don't mind. Call me out. Benji, Indy, call me out. That's a great conversation, though. All right, damn, we got to wrap this shit up. I'm sorry. We got to wrap this up. This is fucking hilarious, though. Shout out to Emma Viglin. Just the coolest fucking person on the internet. Coolest fucking person on the internet. Look at this shit. You gotta love the fake tan right off the top. You gotta love the fake tan. All right, let's get to it.
Hey, after tonight, my price went up. You have to be a democratic socialist if you want some of this fucking shine. Sorry. Tonight, my price went up. You have
How's it going, fellow youngsters, fellow kids? God damn, bro. Everyone's focused on the fact that Hassan is like admitting, like, no, I'm benefiting from this. And he's kind of trying to make himself a kingmaker that you have to be, mind you, the bar is you have to be a democratic socialist to get his endorsement. Wow. Okay, sure. I'm sure, could we get your thoughts on the DSA wins and how you think it'll go for the Democratic Party? I think I could say this now. On Friday, I'll be on with CJ the Radical, and we're going to have a whole conversation about this. Shout out to CJ. You know, we show love to anarchists around these parts. I've been very clear about that, even though people have accused me of, I don't know how, but okay. But yeah, Friday, we'll really talk about it. So I'll save my thoughts for that. Of course, CJ wants to lock into these compradors, which I'm more than happy to. So we'll mainly focus on that, and we'll see how the conversation goes. But more or less, you'll get my opinions and my thoughts on these victories on Friday with CJ. So I'll just save it for then to encourage y'all to show up, because it's going to be fun. I know for a fact it's going to be fun. Yeah, on CJ's channel. Yeah. For sure. CJ's been putting in work on the channel. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Yeah. It's going to be a good time. Oh my God. Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? That's how you know we're winning. That's how you know that we're fucking winning over here. Is like, to us, these people are a fucking joke. A fucking joke. Oh, yeah. Two black brothers are making things happen Friday. Yeah. Shit. Real quick, because somebody's late to the party, but yeah, you can most definitely fight a man at 14. I never said I won. I never said you could win. Just saying. All right. But you're late and we moved on. Catch up or whatnot. I was going to say Anna Kasparian, because that's how, holy shit, bro. No wonder she got the tan. Man, look at this. Oh, you know what this reminds me of? Oh, I love when I'm able to, in a relevant way, bring in MMA to this. Hold on. Let's see. Those of you that know already, Luke Rockhold. Let me find out how many MMA fans I really have in here. Why does this remind me of Luke Rockhold, chat? Yeah, it's this one. Look at this shit. Fucking embarrassing. Why is the DSA so white? I don't get it. Why?
Price went up. You have to be a Democrat.
And she knew. She immediately regretted that. She's like, oh, God damn it. Not enough alcohol.
To be a Democratic.
Or maybe she's like, oh shit, that's my ring finger. I fucked up.
To be a Democrat.
White as fuck. Here's why. Look at this. Mind you, he is from the West Coast too. I think he's from San Jose or some shit like that. But for him, like, to go with the clap, to go with the white person clap, oh man. At least Emma ran away. Holy shit. Yeah. That's too fucking good. That is too fucking good.
To be a Democrat.
I love when I could bring my worlds together like this. What do you think he was gonna go for? That's what I'm wondering. That's what the real question here. Is it better quality? Oh, bro, come on. We don't need the audio for this shit. What the fuck? This is better quality though. So he said 5-time WCW champion. Not the slow-mo too. This is ridiculous. Which, by the way, NorCal, totally fucking different. Different country, different state. Not even close, all right? But all right. It's still the West Coast. It is what it is. San Jose? You showing up, San Jose? The zoom in is crazy. No, he was definitely gonna go for something. Was he gonna go like rock on, guys? Or maybe, you know, I don't know. What is it? I don't know. I waste so much time, bro. He was about to. You know what it is? He forgot he hasn't paid his dues. He hasn't paid his dues yet, so he's like, oh shit, I can't right now. I can't. Yeah, they're gonna. I haven't checked in a minute. I can't do this. And then he was gonna go for the Napoleon, the Napoleon bucket. Who remembers that? What is it, like the bird scene? And hand dance, I guess. I don't know. Do me a favor, y'all. Please support this stream. Super chat, super stickers, memberships are turned on, and you could join the Discord by signing up to the Patreon. $2 gets you access to that, because this stream is being demonetized almost immediately. I promise you this. Where are they? Where are they? Here we go. This is Emma Vigeland and Luke Rockhold just demonstrating their whiteness. Where is it? Come on. Oh, there you go. How is this not the same? He was about to do it. Look. Man, I fucking hate these people so much. All right. We move on. We got this is taking way too long. I promise you, I will give you all the analysis about the Democratic Party on Friday with CJ the Radical. I promise you I will. But let me just enjoy this in the meantime. All right. We want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you. Oh man, that was crazy. And then you immediately see me like, oh, because he drops the N-word. All right, Booker, and he's just hiding his, and he's a great look. I don't really watch wrestling. Wasn't my thing. My cousins would watch it, but I remember enough. What I will say, I thought the company was gonna be way too fucking racist to keep Booker T around as a commentator. From the clips that I've seen, really fucking fun commentator. Really fun commentator. Look at this. We're gonna try and travel a little bit, and then you're gonna see why I think this is hilarious. Again, a lot of these people that actually keep track of this fucking opportunist, reactionaries, probably Zionists as well. I'm not watching 8-hour streams 7 days a week, so not my fault. All right, let's focus.
I want to fuck my healthcare, dude. I want healthcare. I want my healthcare provider to clap my fucking cheeks, bust me open, dude. Bust down Tatiana. He's
always been this creepy ass, like the way that the rape culture just perfectly represented by the way he speaks. Is always that, man. How do you This guy's a legit confirmed bragging sex tourist. And this is how he talks. This is fucking, I mean, fuck, how is this not the rape culture like that people talk about? The normalization of just, it's just fucking disgusting.
Thinking about these things, and I'm always saying these things. It's not that I love my doctors. It's not that I love my primary care physician or the kind of service that I can get in a facility, whether it's clean or not.
God, my voice was so ass.
This guy literally cannot look up old clips of himself because of how hard he fakes his voice today. And that's how much of a fucking fraud that he is. That he can't even speak honestly. Like, I'm not saying like to be honest when you're speaking. I'm saying his speaking voice isn't even his real fucking voice. Now, we all kind of, the way that we talk to our homies, families, and shit like that, very different than how we talk on the mic or giving a speech or whatnot. That's understandable. But if one day I show up and like every single stream that I have, I'm like, hey chat, like I'm here, we're ready to do this. I can't believe George would dox me like that. That is fucking weird, but what can you expect from somebody that's thin-skinned and can't handle his own post being reposted? Yeah, that's crazy. Anywho, we're gonna be looking at some stories today about you know, the Democratic Party and how they're gonna save the human species through democratic socialism. Like, if I came out and talked like that, I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? So he has to acknowledge his real fucking voice. And he's got to make a joke about it because he's insecure.
Thank God we actually tweaked it. Isn't that crazy? That's what I have my second puberty.
I had my second puberty. Either admit that you're on fucking roids, that you got on that TRT or whatever the fuck, or that you're so fucking insecure and such a fucking fraud that you're like, got voice training. That's gender affirming. Just say that, bro. Say, I didn't think I was a man the way that I spoke before. And I wanted to just make sure that people understood that I'm a man now. And so I'm going to change the way that I speak. Just levels of insecurities unheard of. Unheard of.
It's crazy that the second puberty hit at the young age of 30.
I'm afraid of like talking
so
to
I could
people
finally sound like
who
this,
are
as
outside of my
opposed
race.
to how I was sounding off. Can we send this?
And mind you, his chat's like, oh, that's so funny, bro. Because for them, if you call this out that he's a fucking fraud through and through, his audience is like, oh man, you must be a reactionary. Only a reactionary would highlight the fact that this guy can't even be honest with the way that he speaks. It's so sad, and their excuse is all, well, it's his mic. He had a different mic before. Bro, this mic that he has, one, he was already rich. I think we have... No, we don't have the same mic. This is a solid mic. What the fuck are you talking about? This isn't like a fucking a Yeti or whatever the fuck those snowball ones are called. In fact, is it the same mic? That'd be fucking hilarious if it was the same mic. All right. But it comes out when he gets riled up. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. It comes out when he gets riled up. When he really wants to talk shit and there's no custom mic around, this is what we get.
Richie Torres. Richie Torres, I know you won tonight. I didn't even look at your race. You probably won, you piece of shit. Remember, I was coming for you, but you got lucky this time. But I'll see you in two. I'll see you in two, motherfucker.
I'll see you in two. I'll see you in two, motherfucker. I'll see you in two. Again, he's trying to like co-opt that Knicks energy. Like, who says that about 2 years? I'll see you in two. I'll see you in two. Mind you, I wouldn't even be making fun of his voice if he was just honest about it. Why am I not hearing, I'll see you in two. I'll see you in two, motherfucker. I'll see you in two. In 2 years when he's up for re-election. Damn, I cannot stand that fucking noise.
I know you stopped talking shit. I know you stopped talking about Israel, Richie Torres. What happened? I'll see you in 2 years, motherfucker. Just wait. Richie, I'm coming for you, Richie.
What did he say? What? What? No, wait, hold on. Stop. First Kyle Kiklinski, now this. No. He's gonna. No. I'm not getting distracted. Nope.
Fucking vacation. It is time to get
I'm coming for you too.
No, please don't include me in this. What the fuck just happened? What just happened?
This is our city.
You think shit is sweet? Sit on that fucking seat for the next 2 years. I'll see you in 2, Richie.
I'll see you in 2, Richie. Richie, I'll see you in 2. Now look, one of the funniest things that can happen to you as a grown adult male is your voice cracking. It happens. It just, especially if you've been out drinking, partying, yelling, karaoke, what have you, it happens. And it's funny as fuck. And again, everyone around you should laugh at you and tease you about it because it's funny and that's fine. It happens to all of us. But when you're trying to act hard, like, first of all, how does this make you look like a badass? I'll see you in 2 years. Well, yeah, because he has an election every 2 years. So like, why? Okay. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. 2 years. But why are you making it sound like you're going to hunt this food down? What is this? I don't understand this energy for this. I don't get it. Jesus. Somebody says he is very much the Drake of politics. Literally, he is. Yeah. The same way that Drake was this like actor kid who was a plant in the industry. Hassan Piker, Nepo kid, plant in the industry. He's working for the Democratic Party. They're fine with him.
I'll see you in 2, Richie. I hope you remember that. I'll see you in 2, Richie. 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 I'll see you in 2, Richie.
All right, guys. We're gonna continue with this stream. And oh, hold on, my settings on my mic aren't appropriate. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, chat. We're ready to go on to the next story. And yeah, Richie Torres. Fuck you, Richie Torres. But this is a perfect segue into this. Because believe me, it's not just the Trump administration controlling the narrative. The Democratic Party is always working hard to keep you distracted, to control that narrative. Let me move this one more time here, and we'll do that. Of course, checking in with Black Agenda Report. Although I should have found something because I want to chew on this for a second. I want a little snack. Thank you for your patience with that. Wait. Major Laser, you might have a point here. Hassan sees a black politician and tries to talk street. So cringe. If you know who Richie Torres is, it's like a white guy doing bad ebonics while calling out Halton Banks. You know, I didn't pick up on that, but what I will say is when he said something about sweet, like sitting in your seat and like keep it sweet or something like that. Richie Torres, he's gay, right? If I'm not mistaken. So I thought the whole like the sweet thing was a little like, you know, sugar in the tank kind of quoted thing, you know, like just a little bit of that. But I didn't want to really harp on it a little too much. Okay. No, thank you. I mean, honestly, like I don't call that stuff out or highlight it to kind of cater to all of you. I do it when I notice it and I'm like, yo, that's kind of weird. Like he's trying a little too hard. I was laughing too much at his voice, his real voice, right? But yeah, if y'all saw it and heard it, then I believe it. Because you're right. I didn't even catch that. Analogy Nature says, I caught that play on Ricky when I catch you, Ricky. Yeah, when I catch you. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so thank you for clarifying that for me, because what I was struggling with was, why are you like talking this way when it's about politics? And of course it's in 2 years. That's when his reelection comes up. But now that you're adding the fact that he's trying to come off, you know, this black caricature, it makes perfect fucking sense why he was talking that way and behaving in that way. Like he was trying to fucking act hood or some shit. Damn. Huh. Wait, I don't know who blocked it. Oh, Hillwood. Yeah, Hillwood. That's funny, but I'm not too prone on you know. It's just gross. That's what it is for me. I'm sorry. It's not even that I'm like appalled. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm gonna be real. That's just white people. All internet culture and speak is watered down things they hear their black friends say when they're on the phone with their family. I mean, sure, but like when you're like on the steps, you got a camera in your face and you're like going above and beyond, it's kind of a little but yes. All right. Yeah, this is kind of the way that they, I'm not gonna say that it's weird. I don't want to insult Hassan El Bail, or Bael. I kind of like it, but because it kind of gives you a vibe of like how the way that it's sectioned off. I felt like I was getting like a report. That was cool. I did not. Okay. Okay. 8 is my cutoff for real, for real. No matter what we get done with, 8 is my cutoff. I need to handle some chores, I guess. I need to give the state some money that I let's see here. I remember the should I read the title of this? Sorry. The Pentagon's information war comes home. I remember the moment I realized the Iran war had a second front. Not Tehran, not the Strait of Hormuz. The second front was the Pentagon briefing room in Arlington, Virginia. And Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, was winning it. It was early March 2026. US and Israeli strikes had been hitting Iran for less than a week, and the Pentagon press corps reporters who had covered the US military for decades were either locked out of the building or sitting in a briefing room where the front rows had been handed to MAGA-aligned outlets. There was no independent verification of administration claims or follow-up questions from anyone who might actually push back. Jess Hexeth, a former Fox News host turned defense and then war secretary, managing the narrative of a war that was killing thousands of people. The press restrictions were propaganda architecture. I remember this. Yeah, I remember when this happened, it was like shocking. It was like everybody was like, this is fascism. They're controlling the media, this and that. And it's like, I mean, yeah, sure, but two things. One, the fact that the level of hoops that you have to jump through in order to be in that room to ask questions to begin with, I think is already quite ridiculous and already limiting free speech. And two, how often didn't we see throughout the genocide of Palestinians, the Biden administration just lie and lie and lie and just refuse to answer certain questions? And it's like, even if they're there, how are they truly challenging power working for these corporate newspapers, right? Is it better than what the Trump regime administration is doing? Of course, sure. But in terms of effectiveness, like, why are we acting like one is so much more ridiculous than the other? One is more blatant than the other. But these news outlets have lied to us and dragged us into war after war. Before Trump, the war you weren't supposed to see clearly. Here's what Pete Hexet press censorship actually looked like on the ground. In September 2025, months before the first bomb dropped on Iran, the Pentagon distributed new guidelines requiring journalists to pledge to obtain official approval before publishing any information gathered at the building, even if that information was unclassified. Sign the pledge or lose your credentials. Dozens of Defense Department correspondents refused, and by October, they had been forced to surrender their press badges. I mean, in that moment, it's easy enough for me to say, but in that moment, everyone should refuse and hold the line so that if you're in that fucking room, if you have that badge, everyone knows that you're a fucking sellout. That you're essentially, a spokesperson for the Donald Trump administration. The New York Times sued in December. A federal judge, U.S. District Judge Paul Friedman, ruled on March 2026, day 21 of the Iran war, that portions of the policy violated the First and Fifth Amendment. 3 days later, Pentagon announced journalists would be moved from their offices in the building into a separate annex and required escorts at all times. The Pentagon was losing in court and escalating anyway. The effect of the lack of information is that the war has become something of a black box. Pentagon Beat Reporter, March 2026. One Pentagon correspondent described it bluntly: lots of chest thumping, less concrete data. In ordinary wartime, reporters would have received 2 detailed briefings a day on how the conflict was evolving. Instead, the Pentagon was dropping tweets and videos with no mechanisms for follow-ups. A war being waged in the name of U.S. citizens with their tax dollars was narrated exclusively by the people prosecuting it. This is not new. That's the point. Here's where most coverage of the Hexet censorship falls short. It treats this as a Trump-era aberration. It isn't. It's a pattern that goes back at least to 1983, when Ronald Reagan invaded Grenada in October of that year. The press was kept 170 miles away. It was the first time in U.S. history that journalists were barred entirely from a large-scale military operation. The rationale given was safety and operational security. The actual effect, and arguably the actual point, was that the Pentagon managed the narrative entirely through official statements, and the invasion received near universal domestic approval. Barring reporters from Grenada, as one military analyst later observed, proved to be an effective means of controlling public opinion. Bar and Hood Communists don't get enough credit as publications. They should have thought of that before not being white. Just saying. Maybe things would be a little bit different if they were a little bit more inclusive by being physically white. Maybe then the breakthrough news, sorry, that one's not fair. Breaking points. The breaking points, the majority report, maybe then they would pay them more attention. I'm just saying. Maybe it was all agenda report. Yeah, of course not. Of course not, man. Like, this is challenging their narratives day in and day out. Jacobin, you say? Yeah, have they thought about being Jacobin? All agendas matter. It's crazy, bro. Sorry, that's wild. Oh, we got to stop this. I'm not even repeating that one, but that's fucking funny. All right. Oh, yeah. First Reagan in Grenada, then George W. Bush in Panama, then the first Gulf War press pull system, which was really licensing by another name. Then George W. Bush in Iraq in 2003, where embedded culture turned reporters into guests who needed to keep their host happy. Hegseth has simply dropped the pretense. He isn't managing press access. He's selecting his audience with front row seats for outlets that won't make him uncomfortable, while everyone else is told to find a different job. Since the Grenada conflict, the Pentagon has linked victory with censorship. Damn. New York Times Magazine, 1991. Wow. But it's all Trump. It's all Trump. It's just this administration. Once he's gone, back to normal. Back to 1991. No worries. Yeah, back to 1983. All right, cool. No, we're almost there. We're almost there. Who pays when the lights go out? Here's the question the mainstream press freedom debate rarely asks. Who actually bears the cost of this blackout? Not the editors at the Washington Post, not the bureau chiefs filing First Amendment briefs. The people who pay are the ones who have always paid for American military adventures. Working class communities in the United States, black and brown families who send their children to serve in wars they didn't vote for, and people on the other end of the bombs, in Tehran, in South Iran, in Yemen, and Gaza, whose death becomes statistics only when a journalist can independently confirm them. What I will say though, a little too much on painting, the military and military families. Because can we talk about military families, y'all? Can we talk about military families? Holy shit, if you've been around them. I have briefly, thankfully nothing too serious. So it wasn't like I had to deal with it for too long, but it's definitely kind of like, holy shit, like, eesh, like, I'm okay, I'm good. Yeah. Is the audio low or I don't know. But yeah, that's my main issue with this paragraph here. It's kind of being too sympathetic to the family and kids of these fucking war criminals. The Committee to Protect Journalists documented arrests of reporters, interference with coverage, airstrikes on media infrastructure, and sweeping information restrictions across the region from day one of the Iran war. A visual investigation by the New York Times, published on March 5th, 2026, only possible because the Times still had some Pentagon access, showed that U.S. airstrikes had hit on an elementary school in southern Iran, killing more than 165 children and others. That story would never have been published had Hexeth policy held in full. Now you might say, I thought you just said that this access isn't that significant compared to what it is today. I understand what the article is trying to say. My main concern is that even when we have this information, we fail to do anything effective in stopping it and making sure it doesn't happen again. That's what I'm trying to highlight, that even when we have this information, we do shit with it. And that's on us, on all of us. The death of 165 people, most of them children, should have been front page news everywhere. Yet the tragedy appeared to receive limited attention from many mainstream media outlets. While questions remain about the reason for the disparity in coverage, independent media organizations played a key role in bringing the story to a wider audience. What the briefing room tells us. There is a detail in this story that deserves more attention than it's gotten. When the Pentagon did hold briefings during the Iran war, Hexeth called almost exclusively on MAGA-aligned outlets, which had been given front row seats in the briefing room. This wasn't passive restriction, it was active construction. The administration wasn't just limiting what journalists could report, it was engineering which journalists were in the room asking the questions, shaping the narrative. This is what the liberal press freedom framing misses. The outrage tends to focus on the New York Times and its lawyers. It should focus on what gets built in the space that independent journalists vacates. Because the choice isn't between Hexeth's Pentagon and no information. It's between Hexeth's Pentagon and Hexeth's preferred mouthpieces. The war doesn't go dark. It goes curated. That's how empire sustains itself. Not with silence, but with managed noise. Okay, I'm conflicted with this one. I'm a little conflicted because that was a nice ending to that section. I'm not gonna lie, that was nice, that was smooth. All right. Here's why I'm conflicted with it. Because I would say, even whatever criticism I was just giving to it, I would say that it feels like the New York Times is more upset, not that they can expose the truth and reveal this, but that they're no longer the chosen mouthpiece to curate these wars. And that's the issue. And again, with the lesser of two evils, which I mean, you could almost apply across the board in regards to the Democratic and Republican Party narrative or the circus show of it all, I will say that it's coming off like the New York Times is the lesser of those two evils. But if the masses are made to understand that, hey, all the information coming out from the White House is a lie, can we use that to our advantage? Because there's already a very present kind of a distrust of media in general. But if you could like direct that towards the White House, regardless of who's in office, I think that'd be beneficial. Whereas obviously the Democratic Party want an effective, and Democratic voters, whether DSA or not, want an effective empire. I was at a place where people were asking why the Iranian football team was carrying bags. I'm not keeping up. My team is out of the World Cup, so I'm not really keeping up with that. No, in general, I'm not the biggest soccer enthusiast. So what do you mean they were carrying their bags? Like, isn't normally another, like they provide people to carry the bags for them? I'm not sure what you mean by that. But yeah, the New York Times, I think they're upset more than anything that they're no longer like the chosen mouthpiece. Because what they'll often do is they'll like double back and be like, oh, we just got this information after the fact. What a court win actually means. Judge Friedman's March 20th ruling was genuinely a victory. The court found that Hexeth credential revocation framework violated constitutional protections. The Pentagon was ordered to restore press credentials to Times journalists, a necessary decision. But by April 9th, a revised Pentagon policy was already back before the same judge who ruled it still flouted. I always struggle with that word. 'Cause it's not like flaunted, right? Is that how you pronounce it? Flaunted? You know there's got to be one at least per article. Yeah. Actually, no. Hold on.
Flaunted.
What the fuck is this?
Flouted.
Flouted. Oh, it's just how it is? Flouted. By April 9th, a revised Pentagon policy was already back before the same judge who ruled it still flouted his original order. Hegseth responded to losing in court by moving journalists into a separate annex, mandating escorts, and closing the correspondence corridor. The administration treats judicial oversight the same way it treats press freedom, as an obstacle to be rerouted, not a limit to be respected. I mean, that's just the fucking gangster ass way though, right? I try not to do too much of like connecting it to like pop culture and stuff, but this just reminded me, maybe because of the way Pete Hegseth looks, like with the fucking greasy slick back hair and the tattoos and shit like that. But it did remind me of Sons of Anarchy, spoilers, where it's like everyone voted against offing Clay, and Jack spent like the entire season trying to figure out a way to get him whacked, you know, without it being the club, since he got outvoted. And that other part too, why does a gang need democracy? I'm sorry, I don't. What are you doing here? What happened to being a kingpin, you know? All right, but it's a club, it's a familia, it's not a gang. Where are we at? Yes. No one knows how this situation will end. Federal judges can rule, and the Trump administration can comply on paper while gutting access in private. The press pool system created after Grenada, designed to restore trust while maintaining control, ended up producing the Gulf War carefully managed media environment. Reform without structural change doesn't reform anything. I think this is the last one, yes. The war they didn't want you to see. I started by saying Pete Hegseth was winning the second front. To be more precise, he's winning it in the sense that matters most to him. The American public is consuming this war primarily through official channels, official images, and official framing. A school full of their children nearly disappeared from the record. A defense secretary who bans photographers because the pictures make him and the state look bad. Operates with minimal consequence. Photographers because the pictures make him and the state look bad. Operates with minimal consequences. Am I tripping out here? I usually am. Usually I'm the guilty one, but I know I saw a typo, but it was just a space typo earlier today in this article. So I'm wondering if I'm missing something here, or was it? There's like a typo towards the end of a paragraph. I think it was a typo. Trying to find it. Oh, right here. Had Hegseth. It was just a space, so I'm wondering if I'm tripping out. But here's the thing about information control. It eventually fails. It failed in Vietnam, and the military spent the next 4 decades trying to make sure it never failed again. Grenada worked, Panama worked, the Gulf worked, Iraq worked for a while. Then the pictures from Abu Ghraib were released. Then the casualty count couldn't be hidden. The Pentagon's information war always comes home. The question is whether enough people are paying attention when it does. I don't know. I mean, I was with this article until they kind of indirectly attacked the true American hero in Grand Planner. So I don't know if we're gonna finish this. I mean, the fact that he was a guard at Abu Ghraib, and even if you want to say, well, it wasn't when they were all the torturing was happening, man. Why did, like, what excuse is there for the US to maintain that facility after it's been exposed as a torture chamber? And what reason would you have to protect it? It's just ridiculous. Thank you so much for the gift, Mantud. Thank you. And I'm sorry for all like the support and gifts that I missed earlier when I was going on that rant in the beginning. It just sucks when you can't get your hands on somebody. That part I'm not used to. Like, I'm not used to the online world where I'm like, oh shit, like, you're telling me that we can't fucking just scrap it out? All right. Yeah. For Black communities, for working class communities across the color line, for anyone who has ever watched a war get sold to them on television, the answer to Pete Hexet's press censorship isn't to mourn the access journalism that enabled every previous war. Oh, okay, they're talking to me. All right, they're calling me out. Sure. Okay. All right. All right. I can apologize to this Hassan. Not bad. It is to demand something harder: accountability, transparency, and the right to know what is being done in our name before the bill comes due. I think this is like a really great article to share with like people that may not be as politically inclined, especially because the way that it's broken apart is really convenient. Where are we at? Fuck, we got a lot to read. Okay, we could read that tomorrow. And yeah, because this is a really long piece. I'm already talking to an anarchist this week, so maybe I don't have to read all this shit. Jesus Christ. This is a whole day's worth of fucking coverage right here. It's from the anarchist library, so. And by the way, what is this? Because, look, we're talking childhood shit. I immediately think somebody's about to step off the stool because they're like, you know what I mean? That was a great article, though. I like the shot at the end towards me. It was like, they let me yap the whole time, you know? They let me yap the whole time, and then finally we're like, boom. Yeah, because this is a long piece as well. All right, let's save this for the end. We'll wrap up with this then. Because I really do need to go. It's like, I don't know what the cutoff time is for me to pay this off. Literally the last day, per usual. Reaching higher shelves. Really? God damn, I'm sick in the head, bro. I'm telling y'all, there's a reason why I don't share a lot of stories here. That's funny. Oh, yeah, because it's a library. Holy shit. Yes. Oh, yeah. God damn, bro. I don't need to tell y'all. I don't need to cry about my childhood. Y'all already fucking picking up on it. Shit. Is this like fucking a Rorschach test where it's like whatever you see determines how fucked in the head you are? No, I'm like, why? Like, is it like, did a famous anarchist just fucking off themselves? Like, what is this? What does this mean? I thought they were taking their last step off the fucking stool, bro. Shit. Therapy. Yeah, ASAP. Now. Log off therapy, please. uh, Vic, which one? I mean, they have one like it feels like they have one every other day. All right. Yeah, let's save this and we'll, because these are shorter articles from what I remember. So let's move this down over here and then, boom. So this is from Camila Galarza. She's been on Millennials Are Killing Capitalism. That's that's like where I think that Another activist found dead in her home, with marks on her neck after leading a fight against mining companies and corporate politicians amid the Ecuadorian state illegally expanding mining activities. Earlier this year, Ecuadorian water defender Manuel Cabrera was also murdered after refusing to give up the land he's worked for years to mining corporations. Both activists received several death threats prior to passing and filed multiple complaints that went ignored because the state was hostile to their activism. Just last month, the vocal older sister of one of the 4 black boys that the Ecuadorian state kidnapped, murdered, and burned to ashes was shot and killed. A few weeks later, family and neighbors from her community reported that military and government officials were stalking them and knocking on doors asking for the address of the 4 boys. Families, in what appears to be an act of intimidation. All the while, Marxist organizers like Omar Verde are being starved and sexually tortured in Ecuador's prisons. Whether it be by neglect, forced starvation, execution-style shootouts, the US-backed dictatorship that rules Ecuador by martial law and Pentagon bombs is responsible and at fault. It is astonishing how such a short tweet, right, is able to just provide so much haunting information. Astonishing ability to be so concise and to be able to connect all those dots and include all that information without it feeling convoluted at all, even in a tweet. That's powerful right there. But this is the state of Ecuador, and it seems like Ecuador has completely been, if we're talking about media censorship, it's been about El Salvador nonstop. It's always about Mexico, but now it's been like more positive as Shy Bomb. And even with the conflict with Donald Trump, like it's not as prominent as the attention given to El Salvador and Bukele. Milei is like a little bit there with Argentina y todo eso, but like Ecuador is one that I could tell you that before Camila was on Millennials Are Killing Capitalism with Jared, completely, I don't even think on my radar. And I think it's fair to say that for most of us, if it wasn't for Camila's reporting, would not know the slightest bit of what's going on in Ecuador. Definitely not to this extent. I remember when there was reactionary riots going on in Venezuela, that they were targeting Afro-Venezolanos, that they were literally lynching and burning alive Chavistas that were black. And how people give a pass to fucking white people in Latin America's anti-blackness is beyond me, because that shit's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. The normalization of anti-blackness, whether through racist fucking jokes or actual fucking executions, are all interconnected, because it's all aiding and abetting the dehumanization of black people. It's that simple. From The Guardian here. No, I'm not going to do that. Whistleblower investigating Ecuadorian president's family business was murdered, activists say. This is by Dan Collins and Jakub Gruba. Campaigners in Ecuador. See, it sounds weird. Campaigners in Ecuador say a Polish anti-corruption activist who investigated allegations against the family business of the country's right-wing president was murdered to silence her. Monica Silva Konensik, 41, was found dead in her home in Montañeta, a coastal town in Ecuador's Santa Elena province. The single mother of daughters... Fuck, shit, man. The single mother of daughters aged 4 and 9 was found on the floor with a noose around her neck on the 8th of June. A day after her death, and before autopsy results had been released, Ecuador's Interior Minister, John Rimberg, said that the initial hypothesis was that it was a suicide. The necessary evidence to reach that conclusion was found at the scene, he told local media. I'm sorry, I need to find out what the fuck this is. Because the president of Ecuador, he's American born. And so my question is his cabinet made up of Americans as well? Because that's a weird name. Oh, he doesn't go by his last name? Avedo? Ringberg. Reinberg? Where's that from? As an Ecuadorian businessman, consultant, and public official, he has been Ecuador's Minister of Interior since February 2025 in the government of Daniel Noboa. I hate... Okay. None of your business. No fucking way a single mother of 2 small children would do that. They really think the people are total morons if they expect them to believe that. Absolutely 100% you are correct. Where I have to push back a little bit is there are people with real depression, real struggles that do have young children, that are the sole parent, that still, choose to check out. But very clearly, this is not the case here. So I get what you're saying. Just está difícil. Está difícil. It's a difficult thing, but it does happen, and it doesn't reflect on the love that a parent has for their children. It's a reflection of their mental health not being addressed, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. But I understand what you're saying, and I agree. In this case, no fucking way. He received his training at the Colegio Nuevo Mundo. He also completed specializations in comprehensive security risk and management protection. Yeah, I don't care about that. Okay, no. He was born in Ecuador. Who are his parents? Anywho, all right. Oh no doubt she was murdered by the state. I don't want to muddy that in any way. I'm just saying, in any other case to have that sentiment, that reaction, like they wouldn't do that because they have kids. It's not how, it's not how somebody who actually does take their life is operating. They're not operating off of that mindset. And more often than not, it's like, my children are going to be better off without me. That's the mindset. But yeah. No, in this case, absolutely 100% is state murder. I don't want to confuse that at all. A day after her death and before autopsy results had been released, Ecuador's Interior Minister John Rimberg said that the initial hypothesis was that it was suicide. Quote, the necessary evidence to reach that conclusion was found at the scene, end quote, he told the local media. However, on Friday, a post-mortem in the Guayaquil found that the cause of death was a blow to the head and strangulation. Based on forensic reports, we are certain that this was a violent death. Therefore, the alleged suggestion that it was a suicide falls apart, said the attorney Lita Martinez, director of Ecuadorian Center for the Promotion and Action of Women. Silvia Guanesek had spent the last decade denouncing environmental crimes and corruption on social media and working with local journalists. She stated in her social media profile, "You don't need to be born in Ecuador to love it and defend what is right." Monica was the bravest person I have ever met, said Beth Pettis, 47, a British author and fellow activist who collaborated with her in local campaigns. She was often a lone voice, publicly and vociferously denouncing corruption and environmental crimes when everyone else was too afraid to speak out, said Pettis. Said Pitts. I said Pettis, huh? Sorry, I was thinking about Anthony and Sergio Pettis. My bad. I'm sorry. Who has lived in Ecuador for 13 years and lived near Silvia Guanensik in a neighboring village. Beyond her activism, she was a dedicated single mother and a wonderful friend. Even when she was receiving death threats, she would still take time to ask how I was doing and offer her support. Colleagues say Silvia Guanensik had begun to investigate Noboa Trading, the fruit conglomerate belonging to the family of the right-wing president Daniel Noboa. They said she had been pursuing allegations that several tons of cocaine had been seized in Noboa Trading banana containers, but high-ranking Ecuadorian judicial officials were stalling the investigation. Let me reread that, sorry. Colleagues say Silva Konensek had begun to investigate Noboa Trading, the fruit conglomerate belonging to the family of the right-wing president, Daniel Noboa. They said she had been pursuing allegations that several tons of cocaine had been seized in Noboa Trading banana containers, but high-ranking Ecuadorian judicial officials were stalling the investigation. Shortly before she was killed, she told friends that she had delivered a dossier of allegations to the U.S. Embassy in Quito. She had also investigated allegations that politically connected figures in Santa Elena province were implicated in a massive land trafficking ring. Friends say Silvia Gonensik was facing judicial harassment and explicit death threats. Allegedly linked to the same crime networks that assassinated a fellow activist, local journalist Robinson Del Peso in November 2025. Silvia Konensek's death made headlines in her native Poland, with skepticism over early reports suggesting she took her own life. Her friend Joanna Koper told the Polish broadcaster TVP Info that the activist had claimed she was followed and observed. None of us believe she killed herself, she said. She said that the cartels had put a price on her head. 3 years ago, Her then husband took the children to Brazil because she was receiving threats that she and her children would be murdered. The Polish prosecutor's office confirmed last week that it had requested mutual legal assistance from the Ecuadorian authorities probing her death and suggested it would want to be closely involved in the investigation. The Polish embassy in neighboring Peru said it hoped the competent authorities will conduct a swift, thorough, independent, and transparent investigation to clarify the circumstances of the case and ensure accountability. It pointedly added, the Embassy of the Republic of Poland emphasizes the importance of protecting human rights defenders, journalists, social activists, and all individuals engaging in civic life. The community in Montañeta created a shrine to Sylvia Konensik with photos and flowers and kept candles burning for several days. Local street artists painted a mural with neighbors renaming the street after her. Absolutely brutal. Fuck. Do we have time for this, or should I hold off on this? It's short, but let me just hold off on this for tomorrow. Just because this is such a long piece. Man. Ay, ay, ay. You know, people were trying to make things out for what they weren't. And I said, yeah, like, I don't give a fuck what happens to colonizers, right? Even if they're women, I don't care what happens behind closed doors in an Israeli home. And I don't. And I don't think that it's healthy for any one of us to prioritize what domestic situations are occurring in an Israeli home. And so for me, it's the same if it's an Australian home, if it's a home in the US. Like, if you're a colonizer, you're a fucking colonizer. I don't care what stage of colonization you're in. I don't care about how and why you're suffering. Because your existence alone in a land that you've colonized, that you've invaded, whose indigenous population you've exterminated and ethnically cleansed, is the real problem, not whether or not there's abuse happening at home. This is clearly very different, right? And like, I mean, that's the reason why you can't really accuse me of being a race reductionist. Like, if I was, I wouldn't be cool with a lot of people that I'm cool with. But it is a way to like pull people's head out of their own fucking victimhood, right? Their own victimization, their mentality. And that's what white people are known for. And to push them and to probe them into like being uncomfortable the way that we're forced to be uncomfortable every fucking day. Because of them. Their fucking existence is dependent, their comfort is dependent on our subjugation and oppression and colonization. That being said, there's a difference. There are some white people out there who are putting their lives on the line. And she very, very, very clearly was. And it sucks that the best thing that I can think about is at least her daughters, although they'll grow up without their mother, are alive. And their father is still alive. So I know it's not great, but it's something, right? All right, let's knock this piece out here. Let's move this up. How we doing, chat? How we doing? How we doing? ¿Cómo andamos? Sure, yeah. Oh, is the poll over? I don't know how to look at the poll. Let's see here. Why can't I see all of it? I'm ending the poll. Sorry, totally forgot about this. What was the final result? Georgia's incel army versus Hassan's DSA. And DSA wins by 64%. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're both so white that it'd be pretty competitive. And the non-white people in both are pretty close to compradors. But I do think that DSA's non-whites are more compradors than the incel army. But what's worse, like, very clearly following a racist that is willing to sacrifice indigenous people for his own geopolitical fantasies, a clear opportunist that will switch up from one moment to the next to the point of needing to debate themselves, or believing that you could, that your entryism can transform the Democratic Party. What the fuck is worse? The incel shield wall has fallen. I don't know, man. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, the idiots at DSA, Hassan's DSA specifically, will, like, think that they're being principled by not eye gouging, where the incel army will definitely be biting you. Like, I think, yeah, like unwashed, unbrushed teeth. I think they're going to be biting you for sure. Yeah, that's risky. I'm definitely going to catch something with them. Look, that's why I don't get into street fights. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Especially if you train, don't think that you're going to win a street fight. Even if you're that guy. Even if you are that guy. Walk away, run away if you have to. Do not get in a street fight. Especially like someone like me that's been training for so long, but just treats it as a hobby. I would love to compete if it wasn't like a whole fucking day of your life taken from you. Like, I don't care that much about it. I'd rather just show up to spar and get my ass kicked. But you get this false sense of security by training, especially for so long, that you think that you could do this and that, right? But in a street fight, there is, what the fuck? It's a street fight. Even if you fight honorably, if you drop somebody, if you either take them down or hit them and they fall down, they're still hitting fucking cement. There's still a chance for them to never wake up or never, wake up the same. So if that's the case, why the fuck are you over here being like, I have to fight honorably? Homie, go full Bobby Hill. I don't know you. Right up the middle. You bet your ass if we clinch up, I'm fucking gouging your eye and fucking headbutting you. I'm trying to remove this threat entirely and hopefully permanently from removing me from life, right? So I wouldn't want to do that. So fucking run away, run away. Yeah, that's why, like, look, shout out to all the grapplers, wrestlers, especially, but like, if you get a quick takedown, not a double leg because you're going to hurt your head, but like a nice little trip where you land in like half guard or side control, something like that. I don't like mount for street fights. because like it'll make it a mount allows your opponent to hold you to control your posture, and even if you're trying to get up and they don't know how to control your posture, they'll still grab onto a leg, right? And so with shoes and pants, it's always tricky. Side control is way better, especially if they don't have like the flexibility to kick you from there. And I do think half guard is the best for sure. Anywho. I boxed for a few years as a hobby and could take a punch pretty good. Okay. It makes me laugh because like, and I'm not saying that I don't get hit, but like, to say I could take a punch pretty good, there was only one way of finding that out, and it's by getting punched pretty good. But then one guy, as a train station, clocked me in the back of the head, and it rocked me like I've never been rocked before. Bro, tell me why, and I don't know what the fuck. This is 2 times that it's happened to me. No, three times that it's happened to me. 2 times with a coach there, which was super fucking annoying. And the first time, he should have given me the heads up. The first time, homie was training for a Bellator fight. If y'all don't remember Bellator, it was like, you know, the B League kind of rookie league for the UFC, although they were competitors supposedly. Training for that, did not give me the heads up. I didn't know him. And so he started just fucking swinging. I got a concussion. It's like the first time where I'm like, oh, I am fully concussed. Because at the end of the class, I literally had to go sit down. I couldn't drive home yet. Like I had to sit down so everything stops fucking spinning. My head was killing me. And I was heated because I'm like, if you would have told me, hey, I'm going to go all out because I'm training for a fight, I would have been down, but I would have been aware of like, we're going to 0 to 100 immediately. Because usually, if you're sparring and somebody that wants, you know, to be more aggressive, there's a build up to it. Or at least you're starting at an already kind of a level speed and power that isn't 100 yet. Dude, I was so fucking heated and confused. He did end up losing the fight. I found out later. Which, I mean, I wasn't happy for. It wasn't like he was a teammate. I think he was just visiting to get some like rounds in. But it was very much like, hey, like, kind of fucking asshole. So I'm not upset that you lost. The other 2 times, a younger cat too. In this sense, I think the other one were the same age, younger guy. And I had seen him in the gym, but like I didn't know he was training for a fight. And so immediately fucking brutalizes my lead leg with inside kicks because he was taller than me, even though he was younger. So like by the time I realized like, oh, like no, he's trying to keep this level of like striking and power and all this stuff, my lead leg was fried already. Right? Because sometimes like, so if anything below the head, you can go way harder than headshots. But because you're not going to really hurt somebody unless you're like hurt their ribs or something. So leg kicks, you know, are perfectly fine to go pretty hard. But this motherfucker was like nice with it. And I was, especially at that time, I was a little too heavy on my lead leg because I was getting too like happy, like boxing people up. And it's more tiring and exhausting to throw kicks. And usually, especially at the beginning when I first started training there, my lead leg was pretty fucking good at checking inside kicks. But I don't know, I got lazy with it, and my leg, the inside of my leg was like purple, black, and like greenish for like 2 weeks. It was brutal, man. It was brutal. And I wish I would have known that we're going to be there because I would have applied more pressure and stayed close instead of trying to like get some work in. And then another time, I think it was actually before that, this guy always fights like a fucking jackass. So I was kind of ready for that. But I didn't like the fact that he was being coached and I wasn't because he was preparing for a fight. That was annoying. What are we talking about? Sorry. Yeah. Should we even read this? This is a long ass fucking article too. Well, no, it's not. It's just these kind of weird things right here. The photos take up a lot of time. No, it's long. It's long. It's for sure long. All right. I'm sorry. Let's log back in. I worked with a canvasser who got punched in the back of the head, raising money for Planned Parenthood. At the same company, there was a serial killer who was working there when he got caught. What the fuck? Jesus. All right. Ooh, no. Stop. What the fuck is this? What the fuck just happened? Oh, okay. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm sorry that this is where my head went to, but I apologize. I know. I'm sorry. This is just who I am. I have problems. I swear I was confused for a second because I thought that was Dana White with like hair. I apologize. I'm an idiot. I know. Am I tripping out? Hold on. That's as close as I can get to it, but maybe if look. I'm sorry. I am who I am, and I'm trying. Yeah. This is injustice. How leftist zines were used to sentence anti-ICE protesters to decades in prison. By Lex McMenamin. No, Lex McMenamin. Huh. With graphics by Flavio Pessoa. Stop. He does not look like Orion. Orion? Or Orin? He does not look like Orin. Stop. He does not look like him. Like his real son, right? Oh no, I'm saying his adopted son. Sorry. I'm not gonna pull this up on screen. But... No, Orion's his adopted son. Isn't he? I never read New Gods. Let me delete that. No, but what is the name? I'll just look him up. Calabac? Oh yeah, it was Calabac, yeah. Oh no, I won't pull it up. Yeah. Oh wait. They didn't switch. Who is the actual? Yeah, I'm not pulling that up on screen. That's fucked up. But Jesus, guys, come on. I thought, if memory serves correctly, because I didn't read New Gods, didn't they switch kids? And oh, so it's Mr. Miracle, who should have been a new god and was raised in Apocalypse, and Orion is Darkseid's son and was raised with the new gods. Okay, I think that's the case. No, yeah. Probably lawyer. You're an asshole. Yes. Okay, yes. What? Oh, that was Calabac. No, it was Mr. Miracle. Yeah. No, I think Calabac was raised on Apocalypse, but he wasn't like his newborn or some shit like that. Okay. God, come on. Don't do this to me. Especially for like comics I really don't know that well. I'm like, I know enough, please. I'm not a poser. This is injustice. How leftist zines were used to sentence anti-ICE protesters to decades in prison. By Lex McMenamin and graphics by Flavio Pessoa. It's a day after Mother's Day. The first one, Elizabeth Soto, has spent apart from her 3 children. Sitting in jail in Wichita Falls, Texas, her face is washed out by the overhead fluorescent lighting, and her dingy jumpsuit blends into the cedar block her dingy jumpsuit blends into the cedar block walls surrounding her. Speaking through a glass separator, she tells me she celebrated the holiday with her children over the jail's video call system while they had dinner at their grandmother's. I've been a full-time mother all of their lives, she said. I've never been away from them. Soto's children have not visited her in jail, which lies on Texas' northern border near Oklahoma, hours from their home in Dallas-Fort Worth area. Elizabeth Soto has only seen her husband, Ines Soto, once over the past year, the longest they've been apart since they first started dating more than 20 years ago. He is being held in a federal prison more than 100 miles away. And just for the record, I understand a lot of this is going to be unique and different because they are political prisoners. I can tell you this from personal experience. They do this shit for almost anyone. Like, they will purposely place you far from your family. And even when you show up for visitations, there's a chance that you might get denied. And so you just spent all that money that you were willing to spend in transportation to just be denied access to your loved one. Where normally that sacrifice of time and resources would be well worth it, it's all for naught. So while I'm sure that the state is purposely doing this, with more vengeance, understand that even your average non-political inmate, person that's been kidnapped by the fucking state and incarcerated, is struggling with this. On Tuesday, Elizabeth was sentenced to 50 years in federal prison. Inez's sentencing is set for the 1st of July, all because, as she put it, they didn't like my book club. Her laugh doesn't quite reach her eyes. Last year, on the 4th of July, a small group from Dallas-Fort Worth held a nighttime noise demonstration, setting off fireworks outside of the Prairieland Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE detention facility south of the cities in solidarity with the detainees. A few protesters broke away and spray painted graffiti on employees' cars and a security post, slashed the tires on a government van, and broke a security camera. The facility's guards ordered the protesters to disperse, and most of them did. When a police officer arrived at the scene, drawing his gun, an armed protester shot her rifle, hitting the officer in the shoulder. The officer survived. Now, we read the article of this incident, or at least one of the articles, when this occurred. After a 3-week trial, a jury found 8 of 9 protesters guilty of providing material support to terrorists, among other crimes. For the Sotos, this material support, including owning a printing press used to print anarchist zines and being part of a leftist book club. The federal government argued the couple had already left the scene by the time guns were drawn. All 8 of the defendants sentenced so far have been received unusually harsh sentences. All 8 of the defendants sentenced so far have received unusually harsh sentences, 30 to 100 years, essentially life in prison. So these are absolutely, without a doubt, political prisoners, whether they spent a year or 100 years in prison. And meanwhile, you have a fucking multimillionaire, sheepdog for the Democratic Party, trying to act like he's some kind of a political prisoner, a martyr, being targeted by the state. This is what the state does when they target you. This is what the state does. Not float around an idea of a subpoena through Fox News. This is what happens. While you're celebrating victories of the Democratic Party, I don't give a fuck what branch, what wing of the Democratic Party, people are being sentenced to life in prison. And this is a reflection of how reactionary the average American is. For this to have been conducted and approved by a jury of your quote unquote peers, this idea that the US can transform into a socialist project through the Democratic Party is not only preposterous, it's just counter-revolutionary. But the reality is, especially those of us that are bastards of colonizations, we need to realize that the majority of the US, the vast majority of the US, will hate us, will want us locked away, if not completely eliminated, so that they can continue enjoying ever decreasing luxuries of being in the belly of the beast. I didn't know that this was done through a jury. And I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's my fault. But yeah, I mean, that's a constant reminder. Their attorneys announced their intention to appeal, but many supporters are doubtful that anything short of a presidential pardon from a future administration would free them. Fuck. Ah, damn, bro. That's gonna be such okay. God, my apologies. But this is what I'm thinking. This is gonna be such an easy slam dunk for an opportunist. And I'm thinking DSA, like AOC, Graham Plattner is not DSA, but populist nonetheless. But I doubt, I am highly suspicious and doubtful. What do you guys think? Chat, what do y'all think? Does a Democratic president pardon them? Because it would be a great PR move. How Biden did Leonard Peltier. But I just don't see how the first Democratic administration gets this done. What do y'all think? Is it gross that I'm asking this question? I don't know. No, thank you. I know it's I'm just gonna stay up late. It's fine. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate all the support, especially early on. It's just ridiculous. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can join the Patreon. $2 gets you access to the Discord. We have a good time there. They just watched the first half of Battle of Algiers, second half this Saturday. And then super chat, super stickers, gifts, and all that. Anything is appreciated. Thank you so much. If you want to skip all the nonsense, go ahead and hit up the Cash App. I mean, at this point, I might as well give out my fucking personal number since it's going to happen. It's going to happen, Georgie is going to make it happen. Guaranteed. All you can do is laugh off the white nonsense. Homie, you're just proving me correct. Again, shout out to Brett O'Shea. You were right, brother. I'll try and DM you. I don't think we follow each other, but I'll DM you and be like, thank you, bro. I owe you a beer. You were right. Be upfront about who and what you are. And these reactionaries, they can't hurt you. All right. Where are we at? It's just, it would be a good PR move. So that's why I'm thinking, like, will a Newsom administration free them? I don't know. The Prairieland case was first tried and convicted under the Trump Department of Justice counterterrorism initiatives targeting Antifa, short for anti-fascist, a decentralized movement the administration has officially categorized as domestic terrorist organization. The federal government argued the Prairieland defendants, what they called a North Texas Antifa cell, wow, had planned the demonstration as an assassination attempt against a law enforcement officer. The government alleged this conspiracy even though the defendants were loosely connected, and some who attended the protest did not even know each other. The conviction of the Prairieland defendants has shocked legal and civil liberties experts who say the Trump administration is making examples of them and setting a dangerous precedent for what this means for the First Amendment right to protest and to create and distribute information. I will say this, the fucking Fed jacketing going on, there's a lot more prominent during, you know, the anti-ICE protests, especially like in Minnesota, of harassing people, burning the US flag. Here's why you fucking burn it. Here's just one tiny example of why you should be fucking burning that shit. Instead of Fed jacketing that person, we should normalize that type of behavior because this is what happens fucking regardless. And that's why I did want to read this article. I was skimming through it. Against the sale, illegalism after Prairieland, or against legibility, how movements become evidence. I mean, some of the shape of a conspiracy, how movements become evidence. I mean, a lot of this seems really interesting. The process by which movements become evidence rarely involves the discovery of a hidden information. More often, it involves the reinterpretation of information that already exists. Activities understood by participants as ordinary features of a collective life acquire a different significance when viewed through the lens of conspiracy law. Relationships remain the same, communications remain the same, infrastructure remain the same. The transformation occurs at the level of description. Like this already, like, it seems fucking great. There's one something at the beginning that I read that was really, what was it though? But it was basically saying, like, they don't need to infiltrate your organizations anymore because of the way that they're going to legally attack them. Maybe I misread that, but I felt like I had seen something similar to that. But I got to read through it closely. Well, I'll see when I can read through this. Maybe Friday to just warm up to build up to the stream with CJ. Little anarchist reading. To tune in with CJ. That'd be cool. Maybe. It is not only an attempt at chilling speech, said Chip Gibson, policy director at the advocacy group defending rights and dissent, but an indication that the Trump administration is going to continue going after protests extremely hard. Continue going after protests extremely hard. Protesters, maybe extremely hard. In total, 22 people have been charged in connection with the protests. 5 others took plea deals. Another 5 have state charges pending, and 3 more were indicted last month. What the federal government described as Antifa extremists are activists you'd find anywhere in the US. Trans people, tattoo artists, vegans, and anti-ICE community members who engage in mutual aid. The federal government's focus on the possession of left-wing literature, including zines and other basic security measures common in our modern era, like owning Faraday bags, meant to block wireless signals to prevent surveillance using the encrypted messaging app Signal, or dressing in all black clothing, is alarming to activists. Zines are the foundational First Amendment document going back to the Federalist Papers, said Xavier de Janon, the director of mass defense at the National Lawyers Guild and the attorney representing Elizabeth in her state case. Zines discussing the ideas of revolution, mutual aid, ideas of world after capitalism should not be able to be criminalized in and of themselves. That's just dangerous to us all. I will say, I understand like the comparison with the Federalist paper, but like, come on, bro, like, can we move past this glorification of the founding fathers, the framers of the Constitution, like all this fucking nonsense, bro. They're the fucking reason we're dealing with this shit. Ajuma Baraka reported on Ecuador around the time of the stolen election and violence against black youth. Do you have an article, MV? I'd appreciate that. Just the title. I know you can't drop links in the chat, unfortunately. The Emma Goldman Book Club. The Soto's crimes largely stem from a printing press that the FBI noticed during the initial raid of their home, a standard office printer, a paper cutter, and a bookbinder. During the raid, one of the Soto's children told Elizabeth's attorney that the police put a bag over their head and brought them in for an interrogation. Another child was interrogated in the home. Elizabeth only found out about their children being taken for interrogation from an article published by the anarchist collective Crime Think. Fucking shit, bro. That was later made into a zine. The Justice Department did not return the Guardian's request for comment on the raid of the Soto's house, its attacks against the First Amendment, or its unusual use of counterterrorism law. That is absolutely fucking abhorrent and disgusting, bro. The federal prosecution argued that the Sotos used the printing press to produce anti-government zines from a book club they and some of the other defendants were a part of, named for the celebrated 20th century anarchist Emma Goldman, who 99 years ago this month was arrested on conspiracy charges for organizing against the First World War draft. At the book club, the group read political zines and subjects like A Journal of Materialist Feminism and A Call for the Eradication of Artificial Intelligence from the Face of the Earth. Perhaps niche, but nothing illegal. An FBI agent testified in court. Still, the FBI seized these zines, along with the printing press and a collection of poetry about losing a sibling to cancer. What the fuck, bro? I mean, the fact that you're grabbing like printers, like a fucking like printing press level of backward ass Neanderthal oppression of knowledge, of shared information. And understand that the poetry thing is just a pure psychological. There's no reason to take this other than psychological torture. We have something that has sentimental value for you. The Sotos were convicted of providing material support to terrorists among evidence presented by the federal government. In the case was the Sotos tabling at zine fairs. The government also argued the Soto's participation in the Emma Goldman Book Club, where members read leftist and anarchist literature, was evidence of supporting terrorism. During the FBI's multiple raids of the Soto's home, they photographed boxes of zines, as well as a collection of poetry about cancer. The printing press referenced in the case, kept in the Soto's garage, is 2 office standard printers, along with a book binder. I mean, understand this is absolutely dangerous. The sharing of information is absolutely dangerous to the state. In the evidence presented, the FBI included a photo of the flag the Sotos hung behind them while tabling with the book club. featuring a burning police car and the acronym ACAB, which stands for All Cops Are Bastards. Zines have been an important source of information for left-wing community organizing for decades, in part because they're analog and can be anonymous. They become even more important during the second Trump administration amid the rise of state surveillance of protesters and aggressive social media censorship. In many local bookstores, libraries, and coffee shops across the US, you can find Know Your Rights zines explaining how to legally observe ICE agents or how to maintain anonymity at a protest. It definitely feels like there's an overarching project to limit the amount of information that people have, said Daria Sanchez, another Prairieland defendant who did not attend the protest. Sanchez is facing state charges, not federal, and his trial has yet to be scheduled. He was charged with tampering with evidence after removing 2 other defendants from a Signal chat after the shooting. Look, I would never use an app like Signal because I'm an outstanding citizen. But I do have to constantly remind people it's not as safe and secure as we kind of like treat it to be. That's weird. During the trial, the federal prosecutors argued that the possession of these zines and other leftist materials, like stickers, with the letters ACAB, or Chinga la Migra, Spanish for fuck the immigration police, were evidence of their participation in an Antifa terror cell. Prosecutors held up several of the zines in front of the jury for dramatic effect. What I will say is the fact that the Obama administration didn't hold the Bush administration accountable for their crimes, which I would include using 9/11 to push and increase the surveillance state. Like, again, this is all interconnected. The fact that we have this whole terror cells bullshit is directly like ripped from 9/11. Like it's an extension of it all. It's all interconnected. Let's stop pretending that history stops and takes breaks and shit like that. No, it's all interconnected. And this whole, we're looking forward bullshit, this is the result of it. The looking forward thing that Obama gave for not holding Bush accountable in his entire administration was essentially, no, this is a new status quo, and the Democratic Party will also participate in it. One zine found in multiple homes during FBI raids was a 2019 review of the films Hereditary and Midsommar by the feminist theorist Sophie Lewis, titled "The Satanic Death Cult is Real." I don't want to distract and be silly and shit like that, but I do want to say, remember, the way I started my left trajectory is through conspiracy theories, especially regarding propaganda and social conditioning, right? And through that, I mean, the first big thing was Retro to the Earth, which, I mean, if you think about it, it aligns. The whole, discussion about the radio and communication, and then reading Bernays' propaganda and little things like that, I was like, holy shit. But it's difficult for some people to move beyond the conspiracy, outrageous Illuminati, chemtrail bullshit, and into okay, no, there is a real conspiracy, but it's by the capitalists, it's by the colonizers, it's by these white supremacists, these Christian nationalists. Yeah, Hereditary is fucking great. I will say I have not seen Midsommar yet, although Francis Pugh is fucking outstanding. What was that movie Not Enough Time or something like that, with Andrew Garfield? That shit will fuck you up. That was gnarly. And she does make a great Black Widow. It's just that the MCU is trash. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch Spider-Man. That's how bad shit is. I think after Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, nah, I'm good. That's a lie. I did watch Fantastic Four, but because of, you know, Pedro Pascal. Although I did think he was a bad casting, I decided to like support the homie. Although I suppose he's dating a Zionist now, so I don't fucking know, man. That was maybe a mistake. That movie was incel bait. Midsommar or Hereditary? Because I feel like Hereditary, the brother was low key a weirdo. Under the Silver Lake with Andrew Garfield is a mind trip. I get what they were doing. I felt like there was a lot that was unnecessary, but it was an enjoyable kind of like kooky kind of film for sure. But yeah, conspiracy theories. So I see why that came to mind. Far too Saxon. I almost didn't watch The Norseman or whatever, because I was sick and tired of all this like weird Viking propaganda, especially because it's all fucking, white nationalist dog whistling, like Grand Planner's cover up tattoo, that Celtic dog. It's all just white supremacist shit. And then I finally saw it and I was like, God damn, I wish I would have seen that shit in theaters. If it ever comes back in theaters, I'm watching that shit day one. Obsession peak, yes, for sure. Just reminded me, I heard someone say, so you're like a Disney adult about the MCU and whatnot. Yeah, no, the fall off was legit. I did really enjoy who did that Hawkeye run? It's not Aaron. Oh shit, I didn't who did the Hawk run? Oh, hold on, give me a second. Matt Fraction. That Hawkeye run is fucking great. And then the series is absolute fucking trash. So, yeah. Now, I'm basically over it. After Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, y'all wasted such a good opportunity. To continue an interesting story. An interesting story for fucking Wade, because Deadpool comics are not that great either. In fact, most are fucking shit. All right. It's not my fault they mentioned it. I do want to look this up though. The Satanic Death Cult is Real by Sophie Lewis, 2019. In Hereditary and now Midsommar, horror is family. Tolstoy famously opened Anna Karenina with the truly formal, all happy families are alike. Unhappy families are each unhappy in their own way. It took damn, bro, what the fuck? Do I finally have to read some Tolstoy? Huh. All happy families are alike. Yeah, because the foundations of a happy, healthy family, from what I hear, is communication, support, trust, honesty, love, and all that shit. Wow. But the unhappiness is all unique, right? It's all fucking alcoholism, cheating, domestic violence, abuse. It's always something overlapping, sure, but unique to each. Wow, fuck. Okay. All right, so the hype is real. This Toy Story guy is all right. He's somebody for sure. It took well over a century for someone to call bullshit on this properly. Whoa, I was wrong immediately. And it was not only a communist feminist who did it, but, makes sense, okay. One who uncritically revered Tolstoy from most of her life, publicly relating to him, in her own words, like a loyal wife. Damn. I'll tell you something, I love when, like, especially writers, or just writers, I've seen them most, but I guess maybe artists as well, like visual artists. But I love when they're like, no. Like, I am so devoted to this craft that, like, my inspiration and my, like, heroes are, like family, or in this case, like, a partner, right? Like, I love that shit, because it's like, bro, you're in deep. Good for you. All right. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. All right. If you weren't crying, you would laugh because it looks as though they didn't read any further than the title, Lewis said. And so it's almost like a confession, as though the words on the pamphlet are, "We worship devil," signed Antifa. Oh, can we, oh man, I know time restriction, but can we get into how the satanic panic has never gone away? It's never gone away. It's transformed. Transphobia is part of the satanic panic. It just is. I'm down to argue about it. To be transphobic, the sole reason to be transphobic, the only like quote unquote acceptable reason, right? Where the only one where it's like, all right, it's because of faith. Because it's an affront to God. God is perfect and he made you perfect, and you're trying to distort what God planned for you. And it's like, it's literally fucking satanic panic bullshit. It's just transformed and changed. What is the consistent other? What is that? Joe or Joe? The consistent other. What is that? Or you just, I don't understand. Yeah, I'm not finding anything online. All right. Oh, okay. That would be a dope name for a book, though. Donald Trump's targeting of Antifa began in his first administration and has only intensified since he retook office. Last month, the Trump administration issued its counterterrorism strategy, describing anarchists and anti-fascists as violent left-wing extremists and equating pro-transgender ideology to terrorism. This strategy built upon its National Security Presidential Memorandum, NSPM-7, issued in September shortly after the killing of far-right commentator Charlie Kirk, which the right inaccurately blamed on violent left-wing protesters and trans people. At least 3 of the 9 people convicted and 5 of the 22 charged Prairieland defendants are trans. Many have been incorrectly named in legal filings despite having legally changed their names. I didn't read this earlier, by the way. I mean, just remember, like, when we're talking about like homophobia of the 90s, early 2000s, it was that they're going to corrupt the youth, right? It's that they're engaging in these like satanic rituals as well. And, you know, Satan is gay and all this shit like that. Like, it was all that. And then we don't see the same one-to-one comparisons with trans people only because the times are changed. That's it. But the core of it is still the fucking same. And this is why it's like, it's Christian white nationalists that are our primary enemies here. Again, I don't agree with a lot of what he has to say, but Chris Hedges' book on American fascism and the, what is it? I can't read it from here. American fascism and the rise of the evangelical right. Like, we're going to get fascism with the cross and the flag. I think we're just fortunate that Donald Trump is a fucking, thinks he's God and not somebody else, I guess. There's a long history in the US of trying to claim that anarchists or communists or other isms on the left are engaging in criminal conspiracies and then conflating their activism with those so-called conspiracies, casting a wide net to equate speech with violence or critical acts, said Gibson of Defending Rights and Dissent. That history goes back to the conspiracy charges against Goldman, Joseph McCarthy's early attempt at building the Red Scare, to the political imprisonment of Black Panther and American Indian Movement members, to police arresting George Floyd protesters to control crowds. And add to the fact that during those uprisings, the state was murdering actual legit radicals. The ones that weren't cashing in, the ones that weren't fucking hoarding wealth, they were murdering them. Book club members and local activists familiar with the Prairieland case say that the literature and other leftist rhetoric were presented as evidence of criminality to a jury unfamiliar with or even hostile to the cultural and intellectual diversity in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I mean, it's Dallas. It's Texas. That's why Joe Rogan and all those motherfuckers moved over there. They say Johnson County, where the Prairieland facility is located and where defendants were initially jailed, antagonized the defendants, putting them into solitary confinement for weeks, subjugating them to repeated strip searches and denying them dietary restrictions, while characterizing them as violent terrorists from the big city. Defendants, Autumn Hill and Megan Morris, both trans women, are being held in men's facilities where they are vulnerable to rape and sexual abuse, counter to recent federal rulings that trans women should be held in women's facilities for their safety. According to Hill's wife, Linda Cosa, Morris was denied access to hormone treatment while in Johnson County, which could have severe medical. Hold on, what did I read there? According to Hill's wife, Lydia Cosa, Morris was denied access to hormone treatment while in Johnson County, which could have had severe medical consequences. The Johnson County Sheriff's Department did not return the guardian's request for comment on the defendant's treatment in jail. I mean, this is part of this fascist shit, right? You recognize it. I mean, George was claiming that there were trans people that are doing it just for oppression points, just to be marginalized, right? And it's like, this is the consequences of pursuing both like gender affirming care as well as coming out publicly as trans. So it's always weird to me when white people accuse other white people of attention seeking. It's like, just be honest, you're just a fucking transphobe. Because it's not like something that you could just pull back on, right? Like, it's not something where you're like, okay, well, that was just a phase. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't offer the same invisibility, or you can't hide it as quickly or abandon it as quickly if it is for attention as, you know, people that will claim to be gay or bisexual, right? And I'm saying there are attention seekers. But to say that about trans people is like so fucking ridiculous. Because it's like, I'm going to put my life on the line for attention. But it's just a one quick way of like transphobes trying to get a dunk. A safe one at that. Hill and Morris received 50-year sentences for conspiracy to riot and ambush a law enforcement officer, even though they were not present when shots were fired. I mean, this is so reminiscent of Wounded Knee. Everyone was fucking shooting there. Everyone was strapped to the fucking gills. Oh, conversion therapy is literally, yes. Like, and the Satanic Panic. Bro, they were kidnapping. They were kidnapping kids. And it sucks to even say kidnapping, though, because a lot of the parents were like, you know, willingly sending these children to these conversion camps. But that shit was like, I mean, what the fuck is those summer church camps? Other than like a predator's fucking heaven. Same happened in Ferguson. Local activists were being murdered after Mike Brown's death. I remember hearing about that like nonstop, and it was just never getting attention. It was unrelated. It was, oh, a traffic stop or some bullshit. Like literally that, right? If somebody was looking for oppression points, they wouldn't come out as trans. There is significant pressure not to come out due to the oppression and isolation people experience. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like, and I know, like, especially bisexual people face a lot of kind of like, they're very consistently dismissed, right? Like, oh, you're not bisexual, you're just straight, or you're just gay, right? You just don't want to commit or something. I think that's so fucking gross to like to push that, especially like by other queer people. It's like, what are you doing, bro? You're like regurgitating the nonsense you were being told. But there are definitely, you know, especially younger people that like try to do it for attention and just are very clearly obnoxious and annoying about it. That could just kind of say that was a phase or just pull away from that. You can't pull that shit with being trans, bro. Like, you immediately put a fucking target no matter where you are. Where are we at? The prosecution just used the fact that this is not normal to most people. You don't recognize this, therefore it's sinister, said Cosa. They're just anti-intellectuals too. Oh, these defendants read. That's so fucking scary. You shouldn't trust people who read. They might be writing things that'll be dangerous to you. I mean, you could just literally this whole case is just this, by the way. It's just this. It's just this. That's crazy, bro. Major lasers. I remember 20 years ago, many young women, bisexual on their MySpace profiles. It was the septum ring of the early 2000s. That is such a, how old are you? That is, yeah, I mean, I'll take your word for it. I don't know. But there are like, you know, safe trends like that. And I'm not trying to disparage anyone, but I'm sure it's better. I mean, look, it's my queer homies that would fucking call this shit out. My dumbass is like, I wouldn't fucking know. But okay. Where are we at? When the FBI pulled up in a SWAT gear and raided Cosa and Hill's house, where they lived with several roommates, plus their 3 dogs and 5 cats, agents sent flashbangs through the front window, leaving burnt marks across their floor. The evidence included packets of seeds for garden, Jesus Christ, vegetables and zines about plant propagation. That sounds horrific. The amount of times I've seen this, I think I have a copy of that. This isn't even a joke, but if it's not right there, it's in the closet. I'm not even joking. If it's not right there, it's in the closet. Yeah, no, yeah. Evidence taken from the home of the defendant Champagne song included a poster from the anarchist site Crime Thing invoking solidarity for queer and trans people and people seeking abortions. I mean, honestly, like, I literally grabbed this poster at, I want to say, in the anarchist like book fair, probably like 8 years ago, if not even longer. '40s? All right, no, that makes sense because I mean, I barely remember MySpace. The FBI included leftist and anti-law enforcement stickers as evidence. Would I cop any of these? Let me see. I'm pretty picky about stickers. I hate I won't get anything with cats or tacuaches. That's just a rule of mine. Technically, Hello Kitty is like a human girl, from what I hear. Or maybe the internet lied to me. I don't know. Because she has a pet cat, right? No, to be honest, I don't think I would. Yeah, I think maybe just this one. The police don't care about you. That's fine. I would get that. There's a reason why I only have one sticker on this. Right? I'm pretty picky with that shit. I'm dumb. I treat them like tattoos or something. Like, I don't know why. No, it's not that I don't like possums. I'm more of a trash koala guy. A highlighted copy of the social justice book Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown was included in the exhibit files next to a flyer for the Emma Goldman Book Club. Daniel de Sanchez Estrada, an artist, tattooer, and green card holder, was not at the protest, but his wife, Marcela Ruida, was. When she called him from jail after the arrest, she asked him to tow her car and check on her home. The government recorded the conversation soon after. Sanchez Estrada was stopped by the police while moving a box of zins from his home. Many of his illustrations in the form of stickers or tattoo flash sheets criticizing ICE and police were entered into the prosecution's exhibit files. His arrest has led to the rallying cry. His arrest has led to the rallying cry. His arrest has led to the rallying cry. Why am I struggling with that? Rallying. His arrest has led to the rallying cry, written in zins, sewn on the patches, and posted online. Zins are not a crime. I guess I don't want to be an asshole, but okay. Yeah. I mean, what the fuck? Like, why such a neutered fucking phrase for this? And I'm not, look, it's just, I'm just thinking about people chanting, zins are not a crime. Zins are not a crime. Like, okay. Is that what the fucking issue is? Yeah, zins like magazines, yeah. Sorry if I'm it's just fucking hate these slogans, bro. Like, I hate toothless slogans. Sanchez Estrada was convicted of corruptly concealing a document or record and conspiracy to conceal documents and sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. I worked really hard every day in this country, and I believe in human rights and helping others in need. I donate money and art to help animals and others, he told the court before sentencing. I'm a father, a husband, and a teacher, but I'm not a terrorist. Homie, you have human compassion and you're willing to act on it. In the US, that makes you a terrorist. I gotta wrap up there, y'all. It's about to be 9. I appreciate y'all and all the support. I'm gonna drop this. I wanted to get through it all, but just timing wise, my apologies. Y'all know how it is. Yeah, man. All right. If you want to help support the channel, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when I go live. If you want to support further, please check out the Patreon. $2 gets you access to the Discord. And if you want to skip all the nonsense, hit up the Cash App. If you want to pull up, apparently, George is going to release all my information online. So Let me know if y'all want to kick it soon in person. Remember what Glenn Ford told us? Organize with eyes wide open. And as always, John Trudell. The Beast. In a wisp of smoke down on the corner, there was this cat named Fortunate Lee, talking at me from voices in his head, yelling about what storytellers said. You gotta be careful here, child. There's a beast in the promised land. There's madness you don't understand. The beast is crazed and running wild. Little boy man, little girl woman, no big deal, nothing personal. Your mind's another meal. Savoring the rush of you like heady wine, feeding is what the beast is meant to do. Stranger those walls, built to hide, stranger to look and learn not to see. He's in the mask you put on your face. Thoughts, his favorite breeding place. In the race to midnight, it's after 11. The nature of the beast is all he knows. Behind doors of hell are gates of heaven. Doors are open, but the gates are closed. El que llora primero, güey, pierde. Ya estuvo.